a game named Deus Machina, commonly known as Demrock. It was a game that took the global #1 spot right after its release, opening a new era for VR games. Demrock dominated the global market, thriving and winning the Game of the Year award. It was a legendary game that once had over 100 million concurrent players. However, its popularity gradually cooled down. Demrock's ranking gradually dropped over time, and soon, its servers will be completely shut down. A group of players is sitting together around a campfire. Right now, in front of them are a few system messages from the game. Hello, this is Deus Machina. In 30 minutes, the game will officially shut down. Dohyun, also known as the top 1 ranker of Demrock, Kaiser, shows no expression as he reads those lines. Beside him, Borismart mutters with a bit of boredom, "This damn game. I cursed it to shut down every day, and now it's actually shutting down." Borismart, the top 5 of Demrock. Sword Emperor also frowns, replying unwillingly, "I feel the same way. Aside from being a trash game, it was pretty fun. I don't get why it's shutting down." Sword Emperor, top 4 of Demrock. As soon as he finishes speaking, Kudak adds, "It'd be weirder if it didn't shut down when fighting a dragon only drops brick ingots." Kudak, top 3 of Demrock. Right after he speaks, Sword Emperor retorts in annoyance, "Do you always have to ruin the mood like that?" Kudak avoids his gaze while talking back, "Did I say something wrong?" Sword Emperor frowns, continuing to grumble, "I thought only that mask of yours was tacky, but it turns out the way you speak is just as obnoxious." Kudak's limit is reached. He sticks his neck out, challenging, "What? You want a 1v1? This attitude makes him so fed up that he sighs. "You really only know how to fight." Their bickering is stopped by Dohyun speaking up from afar, but, followed by a bitter smile from him, "I also feel a bit regretful." Hearing this, Borismart laughs in agreement. "Makes sense. You're the one who grinded this game the hardest. It's only natural you'd feel regretful." Along with his own exclamation, "Every time I watched you fight, I thought you were possessed or something." Kudak shrugs, adding amicably, "But God is truly fair. You're the unluckiest guy among us." Borismart flashes a cheeky grin as he replies, "Not a single legendary skill, yet still the top 1 of the server. If you were just a bit luckier, we probably wouldn't even be in the same league, huh?" Old memories are brought up through Kudak's recounting, failing enhancements 10 times in a row and then screaming, "This world is suffocating me." You have to see that scene to really appreciate it. Borismart concludes with a remark, "Come to think of it, he's the worst boss of all." This story makes the whole group burst into laughter. This time, it's Sword Emperor's turn to chime in. "Yeah, the unluckiest person I've ever met." After they chat together, the final notification from Demrock appears. "Hello, this is Deus Machina. As scheduled, the game will officially shut down its servers today. Thank you for being with us until the very end." Their game characters begin to disappear. Borismart smiles, saying his final goodbye, "Good work, everyone." Sword Emperor looks away, remarking, "So it's really over now." Meanwhile, Kudak smiles even brighter, making them a promise, "See you in a better game." From beginning to end, Dohyun stands still, watching his friends leave. The fire is still burning, even growing stronger. He says nothing, being the last one to disappear. The game's light also gradually fades away. The VR headset is placed on the table like a final period. Demrock officially shuts down its servers. And so, 2 years have passed. A new day begins in this modern city. Buses are speeding down the main road. On the bus right now, a soldier is dozing off next to 2 young men when an exclamation rings out. "That control is insane, right?" Yoonjun looks at his phone screen and comments, "Look at this. Soloing the Demon King all by himself." He scoffs, his eyes never leaving the phone screen. As expected, among the rankers, the executioner of the Enforcer Syndicate is still the strongest. This time, Jean beside him adds with sparkling eyes, "Syndicate this, Syndicate that, but I like the Empress. Her aura and the way she acts alone are just like a lone wolf." He looks at his buddy's phone screen and adds, "Right now, probably no one can beat those 2, huh?" Yoonjun glares, asking back, "Isn't there still one more person?" Jean can't help but feel confused. Who? His attitude completely changes when mentioning his idol, the strongest from the Demrock era, the top 1 Kaiser. Jean also lets out an "oh" as he remembers. Alright, there's still Kaiser. But after the game shut down, he disappeared too. I wonder what he's doing now. At this moment, Do-hyun beside them just lets out a smirk. It's been 2 years since Demrock shut down its servers. Speaking of changing times, the hottest game right now is the successor to Demrock, named GOT, Lord of Salvation, or GOT for short. Just like its predecessor, the number of players in this game is increasing rapidly. As for the game's content, it has also been vastly improved. Many new races and classes have been introduced. It is a world with infinite freedom. The smile on Do-hyun's face turns more wicked as he thinks to himself, just wait, GOT. The Ranker has returned. Do-hyun, the former top one of Demrock, Kaiser, has just been discharged with the rank of Army Sergeant. His destination is a high-rise apartment building. As soon as he gets home, Do-hyun eagerly shouts, "Capsule! Where's the capsule?" His younger sister, seeing this entrance, can only sigh, "What the? You're back." She and their mother watch Do-hyun breeze past like the wind, adding, "Looking for the capsule the moment you get back, huh?" Her half-joking, half-serious complaint echoes after him. "When you were little, it was always Mom. Mom, you only knew how to look for me." It's true that when kids grow up, they don't need anyone anymore. However, Do-hyun doesn't hear a word of it because he's too busy observing the thing laid out before him. In the middle of the room right now is a gaming capsule. Is this the thing I've only ever seen on live streams? VR capsule. Do-hyun presses his cheek against it, thinking passionately, "For a year and 6 months in the military, I saved up every little bit. And finally, I own this baby." His hand glides over the gaming capsule, continuously marveling in his heart. This feeling, these curves. Do-hyun wastes no time and quickly opens it. Once settled inside, he looks around and comments, "Even though it's secondhand, the comfort level is pretty decent." Wasting no more time, Do-hyun grabs the helmet, declaring excitedly, "Alright then, let's log in." The connection goes incredibly smoothly. The game's notification voice rings out, scanning iris. Verifying ID card. Very quickly, Do-hyun is done. ID card verified. Synchronization complete. The game logo appears, along with a notification, Lord of Salvation. Welcome to the paradise of adventure. The place he appears in is a hall flooded with light, where several tutorial lines pop up one after another. Please create a character. Do-hyun stares blankly at his own reflection in the mirror. This is my character? He raises a hand to scratch his head, thinking to himself, I look too much like a soldier. However, when he sees the various hairstyles popping up all over the place in front of him, Do-hyun feels annoyed. So many random things. How annoying. Let's just pick whatever and get it over with. The system continues to request, please enter a nickname. He carefully considers this. Nickname. The corner of Do-hyun's mouth curls up as the familiar name is brought up. Kaiser. The character creation process is complete, with a notification. Character has been created. Hello, Kaiser. Your hashtag is Kaiser number 312543. Transferring to the tutorial area. Welcoming him is a scene of devastation, with fire burning everywhere. This is the bloody battlefield of the Allen Fortress from the past. As soon as he appears here, Do-hyun is amazed and thinks to himself, is this really a VR game? Several notification panels pop up. Please select a weapon. He reads while pondering. A weapon, huh? Glancing over the familiar items, Do-hyun makes another comment. Just the usual stuff. Nothing special. Finally, he chooses based on his instinct. I'll just pick what I'm used to. Holding this weapon in his hand, Do-hyun thinks with satisfaction. Ever since Demrock, I've only used swords. Unexpectedly, right after he selects his weapon, a voice rings out from behind. Hey, you there? The figure of a man frantically runs closer, followed by his questioning. What are you doing here? Captain of the Charlie Knight Order. Charlie grabs Do-hyun's hand, pulling him along while urging, hurry up. We have to go now. On his face is nothing but sheer terror. The other mercenaries have all joined the battle. As soon as he moves with Charlie, another notification appears. You have formed a party with Captain of the Knight Order, Charlie. The two of them run quickly past the fortress wall, then enter the castle together. The scene before Do-hyun right now is littered with corpses. Charlie looks around with a grimace and mutters curses. Did he finally collude with the monsters? If the rumors are true, he's already signed a contract with that beast. His tone becomes serious as he adds, if we don't stop it right now, that thing will descend. Then Charlie starts leading Do-hyun along with him. Hurry. It's just this way. He doesn't say anything, just cautiously follows behind. Unexpectedly, as soon as they step through the door, they are greeted by an arrow flying from afar. Charlie's footsteps halt immediately. He glares forward in annoyance. On this side, a group of monsters appears. Very quickly, Charlie makes a declaration. They've pushed this far? Let me handle them and clear the way. However, before he can finish his sentence, Do-hyun directly charges forward with his sword. One of the monsters in the group roars in fury. His gaze doesn't waver at all, solely focused on the battle ahead. Seeing the monster swinging its weapon, Charlie raises his voice to warn, danger. Meanwhile, Do-hyun simply pivots lightly on his heel, and the monster's attack completely misses its mark. It is so shocked that its eyes widen. Now it's Do-hyun's turn to draw his sword and counterattack. He delivers a clean, smooth slash. The expression on Do-hyun's face doesn't change even a bit. Taking advantage of the momentum, he swiftly advances forward. Seeing their comrade taken down in a flash, the group of monsters can't help but feel panicked. A few others, fierce and reckless, charge forward anyway. It attacks but fails once again. Do-hyun bends his knee, preparing to counter. His knee smashes right into its jaw. The monster groans in pain. Seeing their kin defeated, the surviving monsters can't help but feel a chill down their spines. They are so terrified that their faces turn pale. However, Do-hyun has no intention of showing mercy to anyone. He fiercely charges forward and delivers the finishing blow. Only now do Do-hyun's footsteps slow down. The last few monsters have finally lost their lives. He swings his sword, flicking off the blood still lingering on the blade. Then Do-hyun smiles in satisfaction, thinking to himself, I was a bit worried since I haven't fought in a while, but it turns out I'm not that rusty. He hops around a few times to get a feel for his body. On the contrary, my body actually feels lighter. At this moment, Charlie exclaims, Good heavens! Unbelievable! You took down 5 monsters all by yourself. Several notifications appear as his expression changes. Captain of the Night Order, Charlie, marvels at your strength. Charlie's affinity has increased. Truly astonishing. Do-hyun himself is a bit confused by this term. Affinity? He starts to ponder. They had this in Demrock too, but maxing it out after just one time? Isn't that a bit too easy? On this side, Charlie is also making his own calculations. A nameless mercenary with this kind of strength. Who knows, maybe this young man is the hero only mentioned in the history books? Several notification panels continuously pop up. Captain of the Night Order, Charlie, is deeply moved by your battle. Charlie's affinity has greatly increased. Charlie's affinity has reached the maximum level. He now completely trusts you. Even if you do something bad, as long as you say you were framed, he will believe you. Followed by a quest summary. Title acquired. Max affinity right from the start. Rank rare. Description. A title for those who max out an NPC's affinity right in the tutorial. Effect. NPC affinity increases faster. All stats +2. Reading this, Do-hyun comments with amusement, pretty sweet. He approaches and speaks up. Thanks to you. Things are much easier now. Then he points to the door ahead and continues explaining. Now we just need to eliminate the dark mage inside, and we can end this battle with a victory. Unexpectedly, before they can even move, the surrounding space changes. Oh God, have they already started the summoning? Thunder and lightning appear, followed by several monsters. Seeing the situation going south, Charlie immediately orders, I'll handle things here. You hurry inside and stop the summoner. His body glows as he continues. If it's you, I can safely entrust this to you. A blessing is bestowed upon Do-hyun. Please, let the blessing of Saint Alan descend upon this hero. Right after that, Charlie fearlessly charges forward. Left behind, Do-hyun is momentarily stunned. I have to go inside. He recalls the videos posted earlier and wonders, but in the tutorial videos, wasn't Charlie the one who went in first? However, an answer quickly comes to him. I heard the storyline changes depending on the player's actions, but to change this much? Do-hyun stops in front of the door. An eerie aura violently emanates from it. A notification pops up. Only one person can enter. If you die, the seal will be broken and all of the boss's debuffs will be removed. Do you wish to enter? Reading this, he marvels again. A notification even in the tutorial? However, Do-hyun realizes once more, this is a hidden piece. To explain, a hidden piece is a concealed mechanic in the game. It can only be triggered or obtained under special conditions, and sometimes rewards extremely rare items. The system asks again for his decision. Are you sure you want to enter? A smile forms on Do-hyun's face. With such precious loot, there's no reason to avoid it. Yes. As soon as the choice is made, the gate opens. Welcoming Do-hyun are screams and the sight of someone being eaten. Why is this happening? I summoned you, so you must obey my commands. The demon dragon's mouth is covered in crimson blood. Do-hyun's eyes widen in shock. Drops of fresh blood fall from its body. The thing standing before him right now is the bound iron blood demon dragon. Named boss. Rank, legendary. Danger level, unknown. Species, dragon. Trait, currently sealed. Description, a demon dragon from the abyss bearing the title, Iron Blood. Currently restrained by chains. All of its power is sealed, so its physical movements are severely restricted. Do-hyun's mouth drops open, unable to believe what's in front of him. A legendary boss? Speaking of which, God, Lord of Salvation copied a lot from previous VR games. The main thing it copied was Deus Machina. One of those things is the ranking system. This ranking system includes tiers like Epic and Legendary. The special thing is that this ranking rule also applies to boss monsters. However, the most special among them are the unique monsters granted their own specific names. And currently, the Iron Blood Demon Dragon is in chains. It is a named boss. The demon dragon raises its head to observe Do-hyun. Then, it suddenly lets out a roar. The force of this roar is aimed straight at him. Several notification panels pop up one after another. You have heard the roar of the bound Iron Blood Demon Dragon. Your physical capabilities have plummeted due to the roar of an overwhelmingly powerful entity. Movement speed reduced by 20%. Attack speed reduced by 20%. Defense reduced by 30%. Magic resistance reduced by 25%. Do-hyun grimaces, annoyed as he wonders. Are you kidding me? Is this some kind of sick joke? He observes the demon dragon's body and asks himself, its stats are supposed to be sealed, but does that really make a difference? Do-hyun's gaze drops to its feet. If I get hit by that massive claw, it'll definitely be an instant death. However, he also tries to remind himself, I'm used to this kind of chaos anyway. Things like this happened all the time back in Demrock. The combat memories from playing the old game resurface. And every time, I only made one decision. The aura surrounding Do-hyun instantly changes. It's either do or die. He suddenly opens his eyes, sensing something wrong. The demon dragon launches an attack out of nowhere, forcing Do-hyun to retreat and dodge. His feet slide across the ground before coming to a halt. Taking advantage of the momentum, Do-hyun slashes at its leg. The demon dragon roars in pain. As for him, he struggles to defend as the demon dragon's shadow looms over his head. Do-hyun immediately turns back, quickly retreating out of its attack range. However, after successfully counterattacking, Do-hyun himself is pushed far back. His eyebrows knit together. Do-hyun observes the demon dragon's health bar and evaluates 120 HP, 999,880. It only lost 120 HP after 2 hits. But then he just lets out a long, self-deprecating sigh, just like they said on the forums. This difficulty is absolute garbage. They had declared to each other, you think you can beat a named boss? Are you guys crazy? That's impossible. It wasn't designed to be killed by you guys in the first place. Do-hyun diligently attacks while recalling those comments. Don't even mention the Iron Blood Demon Dragon or whatever the hell it is. It gives me the creeps. Honestly, it's scary as hell. Besides him, others still wondered, wait, is there really no way to kill it? I saw someone dealing damage to it. Nope, it's hopeless. Even Annie Hagel couldn't take it down. Do-hyun continuously swings his sword, dealing damage despite the dismissive gossip. I think the devs just let it take damage for realism. Wow, You actually thought about attacking it. I just stood there blankly until I died. His efforts quickly spark a new wave of discussion. World chat, huh? What the hell? Its name just changed, right? The waning of wisdom. What's going on? Oh my god. It really changed? Do their names change automatically like that? A barrage of comments appears. A bug? No way. It's run by an AI way smarter than AlphaGo. Then what's the reason? Don't tell me someone actually killed it. Huh? Really? How the hell could a level 1 kill the tutorial boss? You mean someone just killed the boss that even Annie Hagel gave up on? Who is it? The sword in Do-Hyen's hand pierces the demon dragon's foot once again, hard enough to make it bleed. The demon dragon lets out a tragic roar. Its massive body powerlessly collapses to the ground, followed by the appearance of several notification panels. You have defeated the bound Ironblood demon dragon. You are the first to defeat the boss in the tutorial. You have single-handedly slain a legendary named boss. This achievement will be recorded in history. Your rewards are. Do-Hyen is busy panting heavily after this exhausting battle. Unbelievable. He remarks in annoyance. What a nightmarish monster. While pulling his sword out of its body, Do-Hyen mutters, the first, huh? He glances away and thinks, that means even those bastards couldn't kill it. In his heart, Do-Hyen is thinking of his old friends. Those damn developers. Is this thing even meant to be beaten? What a trash game. Screw this. Damn it. The corner of his mouth curls into a smile as he wonders. I wonder how they're doing now. Several notification panels pop up, catching Do-Hyen's attention. You have acquired the title, First Dragon Slayer. Talents will be generated based on your playstyle and achievements, followed by a series of newly unlocked skills. Talent, Weapon Master has appeared. Talent, Hidden Dragon has appeared. Talent, Conqueror has appeared. Talent, Hero has been revealed. Talent, Overcomer has appeared. Necessary conditions have been met. Unique talent, Eyes of Truth has been revealed. Reading this, Do-Hyen can't help but feel confused. What is this? Why did I get so many talents? He waves his hand in front of the notification panel as if to confirm, thinking, normally, in the tutorial, you can only get one. Speaking of traits, this is one of the unique systems in Lord of Salvation. They range from exploration support like Guide to combat-focused ones like Swordmaster. The higher your achievements, the higher the tier of the talent you receive. Reading this, Do-Hyen can't help but exclaim, this is insane. He thinks with satisfaction, all stats increased. Swordmaster effects for all weapons, spatial tracking, and even immunity to debuffs. His eyes gleam as he continues reading down. And there's also, Do-Hyen focuses on a single line of text. A unique talent too. Talent, Eyes of Truth. Tier, unique. Effect, see through all hidden things. The more he reads, the more excited he gets. Weapon Master, Hero, Conqueror. They're all amazing talents, but they're not unique. Do-Hyen mutters to himself with certainty. Even if no one possesses all of them at once, there will definitely be many players holding at least one of them. Then he shifts his focus to one thing. But what about Eyes of Truth? It's unique. That means it's the only one of its kind in this entire world. After thinking it all through, a smile forms on Do-Hyen's lips. I just hit the jackpot. 1 unique talent and 5 normal ones. His character info panel appears. Title, First Dragon Slayer. Rank, Legendary. Description, deals extra damage to boss monsters. Secondary effect, all stats +5 when eating meat, applies to bosses. Can be stacked. Stats +10. Plus, this overpowered title too. It feels like Do-Hyen is bathing in honey right now. Oh man, this is amazing. So sweet. I can't believe a guy with such rotten luck like me could get an opportunity like this. However, his train of thought is interrupted by a noise outside. On this side, Charlie also turns his head toward the door. As if unable to believe his eyes, he stammers and cries out. Then Charlie slowly takes a few steps forward. On this side, Do-Hyen is still dazed. Upon entering, he finally speaks up. I'm certain I heard the roar of a beast. Did you really slay that creature? He looks at Charlie and nods in admission. I guess so. Charlie looks at him in awe and exclaims, and yet, you're still standing here without a single scratch. Just who exactly are you, Great One? Do-Hyen casually tries to explain. Well, it's... However, he quickly raises a hand to stop him. No, who you are or where you come from is no longer important. With a knight's reverence, Charlie places a hand on his chest and declares, "True heroes always appear in times of chaos. I firmly believe that your presence." Do-hyun is still momentarily confused about what's going on. His voice rings out again, "Will become a beacon, bringing great change to this chaotic world. And I, Charlie, believe that with all my heart." Charlie even kneels on the ground. "Oh great hero, I beg of you, will you grant this humble knight?" He places his hand on his chest as he swears an oath. "The honor of becoming your sword?" A system notification appears, explaining the current situation. Charlie, the Knight Commander of Allen Fortress, wishes to pledge his loyalty to you. If accepted, Charlie will renounce his title of commander and become Kaiser's subordinate. The master will enjoy all corresponding benefits from him. Do-hyun's eyes widen, thinking to himself, "Are you kidding me?" Followed by the system's explanation. "However, since he passed away long ago, you will not receive any benefits even if you become his master." Reading these lines, he feels a bit less confused. Right, this tutorial is just a recreation of the past. Do-hyun nods slightly as he replies, "So, this is just a formality event? Alright, I accept." Charlie's face lights up at these words. Along with that, several other notifications appear. "You have accepted Charlie's oath. You will forever be the master and Knight Commander Charlie's memories. The battle recorded in history as the tragedy of Allen Fortress will now be remembered as a final victory in Charlie's mind. He will rest in peace, looking forward to a better future." Do-hyun silently observes what's in front of him. "Rest in peace, huh?" A light suddenly appears along with an instruction. "You will soon be transported to the Pantheon." That blue light forms a portal. At this moment, Charlie speaks up from behind, "My master." The question he asks is full of anticipation. "Where is our next destination?" Do-hyun turns his head back while thinking, "Our next destination." He smiles and explains, "Since this is a harsh world anyway." Do-hyun's face turns serious as he declares, "We will go wherever we need to go." Charlie's eyes light up upon hearing these words. Wherever we need to go. The blue light envelopes the two of them. The system continues to announce, preparing for teleportation. "You will be transported to the Pantheon in 5 seconds. 5, 4. Suddenly, Charlie shoves an item into Do-hyun's hand. "Master, please, take this." Do-hyun looks at it in confusion. "What's this?" The system voice is still ringing out. "You have received an item." On Charlie's lips is a smile of complete satisfaction. "Thank you, Master. Please save." Teleporting to the Pantheon. The scenery in front of Do-hyun quickly changes. Information also appears accordingly. "Welcome to the Pantheon. This is where you choose a deity and decide the path you will take. We pray that you will receive the god's protection." Do-hyun looks around with an expressionless face. So this is the famous Pantheon from the rumors. Speaking of which, instead of calling it by the noble name Pantheon, people usually know this place as a gacha hub. A unique feature of GOT that has made countless players laugh and cry. This is where the divine lottery takes place. You are only allowed to serve a single deity, and your class will depend entirely on the god you choose. Furthermore, since everything in GOT is clearly tiered, the gods also have their own distinct rankings. Mythic gods, heroic gods, and legendary gods. As for mythic gods, they are entities that became gods through tales passed down from ancient times. Heroic gods are humans who were hailed as heroes in the past, then ascended to the Pantheon to join the ranks of the divine. The final tier is legendary gods, those who wrote their own legends. For example, Zeus from Greco-Roman mythology or Odin from Norse mythology belong to this group. Of course, the later the tier, the higher the grade. At this moment, system notifications also appear. Each card conceals a different deity inside. Please choose the god you wish to serve. Seeing the massive number of them, Do-hyun can't help but marvel. Wow, there really are too many choices here. He decides to close his eyes and pick randomly. My luck is garbage anyway, so there's no need to be too greedy. Unexpectedly, among the pile of cards, there is a distinct point of light. Why is that card over there glowing bright gold? Along with that is the activation of a skill. Skill. Eyes of Truth has been activated. Do-hyun's eyes widen, muttering the words he just read. To see through what is hidden, followed by an exclamation. This ability is beyond imagination. He looks at the glowing card in front of him and starts calculating the possibilities. If this is true, then from now on, every time I open a card pack, I'll always have a guaranteed win. Memories of playing the old game with his teammates flood back. Why is your luck so pathetically bad? Everything else is fine, but your luck. Remembering it, Do-hyun can't help but feel a bit hurt. I used to just laugh it off, but do you know how bitter I truly felt inside? His gaze locks onto the glowing card in front of him. But now, with this in my hands, returning to the ranks of the top players is entirely possible. However, despite being so excited he could burst, Do-hyun still has to remind himself, gotta stay calm. His hand slowly reaches forward. Unconditionally, I won't aim for anything other than the gold cards. Finally grabbing that card, its information quickly appears. You have drawn the legendary god, the one-armed sword god tier. Do you wish to choose this deity? The corner of Do-hyun's mouth curls into a smug smile. A legendary god, huh? With this start. However, right after that, red background notifications pop up. The aptitude to become an apostle has not yet been formed. You cannot become an apostle of the god tier. Please draw a card again. Do-hyun's mood instantly plummets. What the hell is going on? The system notifies again. The god tier is feeling extremely confused by this unexpected situation. He carefully calculates. The vessel to contain the power hasn't been formed yet. Do-hyun has to admit to himself, I've never heard of or seen such a bizarre case before. Finally, a flash of insight hits him. Wait a minute. A vessel for power. Do-hyun recalls what happened earlier. Normally, after a player is killed by the demon dragon, a goddess appears to deliver an oracle. His train of thought continues. However, since I defeated the red dragon, the goddess didn't show up. If so, is all this trouble because I didn't receive the goddess's enlightenment? Then Do-hyun opens his own status window. Player, Kaiser. Level, 11. Max affinity right from the start. Title, First Dragon Slayer. STR, 5, plus 18. AGI, 5, plus 18. VIT, 5, plus 18. Per, 5, plus 18. It's not there. He quickly notices the difference. Right at the class section, where it should say Apostle, HP, 210/210. Class, Adventurer. Titles, 2. It only displays the word Adventurer. A difficult problem is posed. Damn it. What am I supposed to do now? And then Do-hyun looks up again. If this keeps up, those cards are completely worthless. They'll just tell me I don't have the aptitude anyway. All the excitement from earlier bursts like a bubble. Do you know how long I've waited for this moment? Do-hyun frustratingly holds his head, trying to remind himself. What should I do now? If I delete this character to create a new one, I'll have to wait a grueling 60 days. However, right after that, he notices something else. Do-hyun's gaze is glued to a red card lying on the ground. Red. His hand touches it as he thinks to himself. I've never even heard of a red tier card before. Information about this card instantly appears. You have selected a hidden card. You have chosen Kasha, the forgotten last adventurer. You possess the aptitude of an adventurer. You have officially become an apostle of Kasha. Do-hyun's eyes reflect the red glow of the card. I'm certain this is a hidden piece. System notifications continuously pop up while the red light slowly envelopes his body. You have advanced to the last adventurer. You have acquired the skills of this class. Class, Last Adventurer. Description: early humans were originally all adventurers. They were once the masters of the Vita region, stronger than anyone, possessing power that threatened even the gods, until they perished in vain. Since that fateful day, humanity was defeated. And I am the last remaining adventurer. Long panels of information appear one after another. Innate ability, Adventurer. Adventurers are those who always yearn for freedom, the masters and friends of Vita. They carry explosive potential within them. Effect: you can learn and use all skills without being restricted by class. Reading this, Do-hyun can only exclaim, this is truly insane. He thinks with satisfaction, no longer bound by class restrictions, able to cast all skills. And then figure out a way to develop this. Thanks to this, I can build my own custom skill tree, selecting only the most useful skills to use. A roadmap is quickly drawn out by Do-hyun. Furthermore, combined with these eyes of truth, I will definitely get exactly the moves I want. What will happen if I combine it with the Weapon Master talent? He even fantasizes about the future. Then I will truly become an omnipotent being. There won't be a single weakness left. Information continues to be provided by the system. Class advancement complete. You will be teleported to the Vita region shortly. 5-4. Throughout that process, Do-hyun constantly reminds himself. With just this start, the system's countdown rings out. 3. A proud smile blooms on Do-hyun's lips. It's well worth trying again, as the light gradually covers his entire body. 2. To climb to the position of a top ranker. The Vita region, Arda, the city of beginnings, overflowing with light and bustle. Everyone has their own goals. Oh man, my gacha pulls were a total disaster this time. Try to be a bit more patient. There's still plenty to do in GOT, even if you're not a combat class. On the street right now, there are two figures walking together. One of them remarks in frustration, "Doesn't look like we'll find anyone promising today." Talent Scouts. Speaking of talent scouts, they are officers responsible for recruiting new members for guilds. But in reality, in the eyes of players, they are no different from annoying cult recruiters asking, "Do you believe in God?" The gray-haired guy continues in annoyance. "I need to fill my quota a bit this month, or that bastard manager will throw a fit again." At this moment, the black-haired guy looks away and speaks up. "Hey, look at that young guy over there." They observe Do-hyun, accompanied by an assessment. He looks like a pathetic mess, right? That guy's spirit seems completely broken. Finally, the two decide to ignore him. Let's go. There's no point in recruiting washed-up kids like that. The truth is, Do-hyun is reading the information lines appearing before him. Necklace of blood and oath. A piece of jewelry carrying an oath forged from the blood of Charlie, the Knight Commander of Allen. Only his descendants may possess it. Equipment item. Rank, heroic. Level requirement, 0. Restriction, only for Charlie's master. Special option, defense and magic resistance will increase every time a certain amount of experience is accumulated. Unlocks at level 35. He drops his jaw, marveling inwardly. Awesome. This is a heroic tier equipment. Even the bonus stats are extraordinary. Once again, Do-hyun experiences the feeling of bathing in honey. This feels so sweet. It's truly, truly amazing. However, a notification panel appears and interrupts his excitement. Notification, quest, wipe out the goblins. Do-hyun reads and mutters, a quest to kill goblins? Not only him, but many others also receive the same notification. Wipe out the goblins. Rank, normal. Description, a commission from Dante, a veteran hunter in the Arda region. Defeat goblins, 0 of 40. Reward, 80 silver and a certain amount of EXP. Penalty, Dante's affinity may decrease. Time limit, 24 hours. They each have different reactions. This is a hunting quest. Awesome. Hit the jackpot. I don't even have to wait in line. LFG. Anyone want to do the beast hide gathering quest together? Party looking for tank, DPS, and healer to grind straight to level 12. From afar, Dante stands on a high platform, waving his hand enthusiastically. Then I'm counting on you all. Hunter Dante, please purge all those stupid goblins for me. As soon as they receive the quest, the people present immediately start forming parties. Do-hyun looks around and carefully assesses the situation. Looks like everyone is joining parties to get to work. From behind, a group of 3 approaches him with an offer. Sorry to bother you. Our group is planning to speed grind to level 12. Do you want to join us? Their faces bloom with friendly smiles. Let's play together to get bonus EXP for partying up. Let's hunt them down together. Do-hyun considers this offer very seriously. Form a party? That makes sense. He himself knows well that hunting not only becomes much easier with teammates, but if you factor in the bonus party EXP, hunting in a group is almost mandatory. Do-hyun wastes no time and quickly agrees. Sounds good. Let's party up. Topsil's party has been successfully created. Party. Topsil, LV.1. Mikon, LV.1. Bingong, LV.1. Kaiser, LV.1. When seeing Do-hyun's name, Topsil quickly makes a comment. Are you a fan of Kaiser too? Mikon curiously chimes in. Kaiser? Who's that? Bingong beside her kindly explains, he's the guy who used to be rank 1 back in the Demrock days. Her eyes light up as she understands. Oh, I see. You must be a huge fan of Kaiser then. You even named yourself Kaiser. He nods in agreement. Exactly. You even took his name. From beginning to end, Do-hyun just smiles wryly without saying a word. Their morale is high. Well then, shall we get going? Let's grind to level 12 as fast as possible. Let's go. He reluctantly followed. The battle quickly erupted. Super Top successfully inflicted a debuff on the Green Goblin. The Green Goblin was stunned for 1 second. He successfully launched an attack and turned to signal the others. I just bashed them. Everyone, focus your attacks on it. Bingong shouted as he fired an arrow. Mikon. She understood and immediately joined the attack. Mana burn. The two friends dealt damage together and quickly took down the goblin. You have successfully defeated a Green Goblin. The remaining goblins saw their comrade fall, half in confusion and half in rage. They decided to charge forward in a desperate attack. However, Top CO once again successfully acted as the team's shield. Bingong's voice rang out. Block the attack. Mikon followed up. Use your shield, bro. Top CO used all his strength to block the Green Goblins and shouted, finish them off quickly. However, the other two members hesitated. Wait a minute. My skill is still on cooldown. Just then, the shadow of another Green Goblin appeared from behind. Even Top CO was stunned by this. Its face twisted into a triumphant grin. It was certain this sneak attack would succeed. However, there was movement on the ground. Do-hyun rushed forward, felling the Green Goblin with a single slash. You have defeated a Green Goblin. Top CO was visibly shocked. Bingong and Mikon had the same expression. Do-hyun landed lightly after taking down the Green Goblin. However, just a second later, he charged forward again. Then, Do-hyun tore through the goblins, triggering a stream of notifications. You have defeated a Green Goblin. You have defeated a Green Goblin. The party members were ecstatic watching the massacre. Amazing. Well done, Kaiser. Kaiser is number 1. After finishing them all off, Do-hyun sheathed his sword. Top CO appeared from behind with a smile. Everyone worked hard. Good job. You guys are really skilled. He even began to daydream. If we keep this up, we'll soon achieve. But before he could finish, Top CO urgently warned him. Kaiser, behind you. A horde of Green Goblins appeared from the forest. They all wore ferocious expressions. Seeing the difference in numbers, Top CO immediately suggested a retreat. We can't fight this. Let's run for now. However, Do-hyun once again charged forward. Kaiser. The Green Goblins on this side gleefully rushed forward. He leaped high, preparing to engage them in close combat. Do-hyun's eyes were filled with killing intent for them. The forest, which had been peaceful just a moment ago, was now stirred by a flurry of attacks. Boris Matt voiced his confusion. Why do you always rush into such risky battles? Are you hot-headed, or is there something wrong with you? A reckless person will taste defeat sooner or later. To this question, Do-hyun simply replied nonchalantly, reckless? What are you rambling on about? He began to explain. Hey, when your health is at a critical level, and then a boss-level monster suddenly appears, isn't charging straight at it just insane? However, he was cut off by another question from Do-hyun. But I defeated it in the end, didn't I? Boris Matt was speechless for a moment before agreeing. Well, that's undeniable. You're not wrong, but that action was still extremely dangerous. Back in the present, Do-hyun faced a horde of Green Goblins. How thoughtless. He looked at them and silently agreed. Perhaps. There's no reason to do this. It's unnecessary to risk one's life for a pointless fight. At that moment, Top CO quickly turned with the intention to retreat. We're not strong enough to handle them. I'm retreating now. However, Do-hyun had already charged forward. Kaiser. He thought to himself, but I've never fought blindly. The Green Goblins excitedly rushed toward him. The two sides quickly clashed. Do-hyun's eyes now glowed red. I fight simply because I'm certain I will win. The once peaceful forest was stirred into chaos just a second later. You have used the skill. Crush. Do-hyun continuously attacked the Green Goblins. System notifications appeared endlessly. A critical hit has been landed. You have successfully defeated a Green Goblin. Through item sharing, Kaiser has received a Green Goblin hide. In the middle of the fight, he glanced back. Now, only a single goblin with a poison blowpipe remains. Du Hyun's feet changed direction, and then he targeted them for his attack. I believe I can do this. A series of smooth sword strikes were unleashed. The green goblin with the poison blowpipe once again prepared a sneak attack. Du Hyun was slashing its comrades when a hidden weapon flew toward him. The skill Momentum has been activated. The talent Overcome uses strong will to break through all limits. The talent Overcome has been activated. Du Hyun's vision was enhanced. He easily parried the hidden weapon. The green goblin that witnessed this was so shocked its jaw dropped. Du Hyun charged directly at it. Then his feet slid a long way across the ground, because in front of him was another green goblin, eagerly charging forward. It gritted its teeth, swinging its sword at Du Hyun. His eyes glowed red, and with a single blow, Du Hyun easily defeated the green goblin. System notifications appeared. Thanks to the talent Weapon Master, all equipment restrictions have been removed. Under the effect of the Adventurer trait, you can use the basic dagger skill, Exploit Weakness. A satisfied smile formed on his lips. Watch this. His free hand moved with the flow, drawing a dagger. Du Hyun then stabbed the dagger into the green goblin. You have used the skill, Exploit Weakness. You have hit the enemy's weak point. A critical hit has been registered. He had just defeated one when he had to face another. Their weapons clashed. Du Hyun successfully knocked the club from the green goblin's hand. The Weapon Master trait removes barriers to using equipment. The Adventurer talent allows you to use the basic club skill, Swing. In the blink of an eye, he appeared in front of it. The green goblin's eyes showed a look of terror. That was also the moment it met its end. Du Hyun stabbed the dagger into its body while seizing its weapon, and then used that very club to finish off the green goblin. You have used the skill, Swing. System notifications appeared one after another. Your weapon mastery level has increased. Your club skill has now reached level 2. Your dagger proficiency has increased. Your dagger mastery level is now 2. Your sword proficiency has improved. Your sword mastery level has now reached level 3. This seems pretty good, doesn't it? Looking at the battlefield he created, Du Hyun had to marvel to himself. I thought I'd only be able to learn skills without restrictions, but I never expected to be able to use them immediately like this. His face became incredibly excited. This is far beyond what I expected. Behind him, Top CO was still watching. He couldn't believe what was happening. What the hell is going on? This is absurd. The truth is, everyone knows. Even a seasoned party would have trouble hunting a whole horde of goblins like that. Top CO continued to watch Du Hyun. But he wiped them all out by himself. His name caught his eye. ID, Kaiser. Kaiser. Top CO asked himself in confusion. I can't believe it. Could this really be the Kaiser from the Demrock days? But he quickly dismissed the thought. No, that's definitely impossible. Everyone knows he was a genius master who disappeared from the scene for 2 years. What the hell would Kaiser be doing here? Ever since Demrock shut down, no one has heard any news about him. And now he just happens to show up in my party today? This makes no sense at all. The more he thought, the more confused Top CO became. So then who is this guy? However, Du Hyun on the other side was busy enjoying his victory. Ah, that was amazing. So good. His somewhat crazed expression made Top CO feel uneasy. He looks a little insane. A blue light suddenly appeared. Du Hyun watched as the green goblins slowly vanished, and he quickly understood. It seems everything will disappear except for the dropped weapons. He wasn't too bothered by this. Anyway, I've removed my weapon restrictions and can even use their skills, so I think this is enough for now. Next, Du Hyun requested, open status window. His information appeared almost instantly. Player, Kaiser. Level, 4. HP, 300/350. MP, 200/150. Stamina, 230/140. Class, The Last Adventurer, Apostle of Kasia. Titles, 2. Max favorability from the start, The First Slayer. Strength, 5+18. Agility, 5+20. Constitution, 5+19. Perception, 5+18. Magic, 5+18. Unassigned points, 2. I've gained 3 levels in a single hunt. Du Hyun calmly reviewed his stats. Although I'm not restricted by any weapon type, my foundation is still swordplay. I'll put 9 points into strength, 8 into agility, and the rest into perception. His mind was filled with calculations. The other stats are temporarily boosted by my titles and Charlie's necklace. Exclamations from behind drew his attention. Oh my god, Kaiser! That performance was absolutely insane. The party members were all full of admiration. I'm officially your biggest fan now. Hey, Kaiser, you're the best. Top CO couldn't help but ask, with this level of skill, are you really the legendary Kaiser? Bingong at his side quickly interjected. Come on, that guy has been inactive for a long time. How could he suddenly reappear like this? However, Top CO still defended his opinion. But after seeing him fight with my own eyes, that's the most logical explanation. The other person somewhat agreed. He really does have the air of the real Kaiser, doesn't he? They continuously showered Du Hyun with praise. That was really amazing. If you said you were the real Kaiser, I'd believe you in a heartbeat. He just smiled, but thought to himself, what a pain, but I am Kaiser. At that moment, another question was asked. By the way, Kaiser, did you just receive power from some mythical god? The amount of damage you deal is terrifying. Du Hyun once again answered modestly, it's all thanks to my talents. I was also lucky enough to get a title. The more they heard, the more they admired him. You have a title, too? Aren't you on your way to becoming a high-ranking player, a ranker? I need to get on your good side now. The party chatted for a while longer. Then Top CO suggested, all right, it looks like my health has recovered. Shall we continue hunting? Bingong's morale soared. Why don't we just take down 10 more while we're at it? Seeing their excitement, Du Hyun had to agree. Good idea. Bingong declared loudly, let's go, shield bearers. We've got the big boss Kaiser with us now. Mikon excitedly agreed, let's move out. Only Du Hyun's expression changed, as a voice from the past unconsciously echoed in his mind. Let's hurry up. Back then, Kuduk and Boris Matt were arguing loudly. But first, we need to gather the necessary items. Anyway, Kaiser will take care of everything. He's a master, after all. Geometry J was annoyed by his attitude. Hey, we're high rankers too, you know? Kuduk shot back. A ranker like you is getting cocky? Geometry J got even angrier. What? Who are you calling? Du Hyun looked up at the sky and wondered, so what? I wonder what the others are doing now. Unexpectedly, another information window appeared before him. Urgent quest, mutated goblin's blood. Rarity, rare. Description, this quest is entrusted by Kaze, an alchemist who has lived for centuries. Recently, he has been secretly observing the mutated goblins and seems to have discovered something. To assist him, collect fresh blood from the mutated goblin warrior residing in the caves of Artis Forest. Defeat mutated goblin warrior, 0 out of 1. Mutated goblin warrior's blood, 0/1. Completion reward, 1 gold. A certain amount of experience and a silver ring crafted by Kaze himself. Failure penalty, Kaze's favorability may decrease. Time limit, none. Du Hyun's expression changed. A mutated goblin warrior? Du Hyun's party soon arrived in front of a giant cave. Bingong was the first to speak. I'm feeling nervous. Mikon agreed with him. Me too. Hearing these words, Du Hyun thought to himself, it's understandable to feel anxious right now. He remembered what happened before they arrived here. Thanks to hunting more monsters on the way, we learned that this instance dungeon is nicknamed. This secret realm consists of Top CO, level 9, Hecate, level 9, IU Bingong, level 9, and Kaiser, level 9. And it's called the Rookie Destroyer. The comments section was in an uproar. How the hell do you kill that mutated goblin warrior? I just failed my 3rd attempt. Do they really have a chance of winning? It's totally beatable if you follow the guide. No way, I followed it, but it's insanely hard. One small mistake, and the whole party wipes. What's the point of playing then? Reading this, Du Hyun could confirm it. This is a dungeon where players are guaranteed to die on their first entry. They entered with determination. Let's just consider this a taste of a real raid. At the tomb of Arda, among the names people gave it, not a single one sounded hopeful. They were greeted by the goblin warrior. Compared to hunting regular goblin hordes, the challenge level here was significantly higher. The instance itself even had unique mechanics that required extremely tight teamwork. When you combine those two factors, another party was walking out in frustration as Du Hyun's group entered. No wonder this place is called the Rookie Destroyer. Comments flew around. Oh man, seriously? Do we even have a chance of beating this thing? They should have designed it for solo play. I just want to punch my party members in the face every time they mess up. Mikon listened and mumbled. It seems like it's really tough. Top CEO replied with a determined look. It may be difficult, but we have to overcome it. If we can't clear this place, we won't have a chance to participate in any of the upcoming raids. Do-hyun hadn't taken his eyes off his teammates. He's right. He remembered the discussions on the forums. Even the guilds, when faced with a choice. Even the corporations, if they had to choose. Notice, please adhere to the forum rules. Recruiting for guild broth, REQ, Goblin Warrior kill. Hero rank or higher. Views, 10,022. Likes, 24. Guild umbrella, recruiting, need cleric/warrior. Views, 2,359. Likes, 25. Guild gobble recruiting, need goblin warrior kill. Looking for warrior or healer. Views, 15,578. Likes, 189. Would they choose such a different game? Other members wondered, do we really have to kill that goblin warrior? If you don't, you won't be able to join any guild or party. Can't I just lie and say I've beaten it? No, they're asking why you can't just make it up. Various topics related to the goblin warrior were brought up. Don't you know that everything is recorded in the adventure log? This is so frustrating. I'm just gonna quit the game. Your IQ is probably on the same level as that goblin. Those cheap tricks don't work in GODS. Then, the appearance of an item was mentioned, the adventure log. Inside that adventure log, many things were contained. From material quests to exploring new lands, and even defeating bosses. You could say that every activity a player performs in the world of GODS is recorded in the adventure log. However, as time passed and later, when there was a list of cleared by, it might be different. But if you want to join a boss hunting party in the next city, players have no choice but to grit their teeth and overcome this challenge. Do-hyun thought to himself as he entered. Furthermore, the boss in the next city is a mandatory target, unlike in Arda. After walking a bit further, he stopped. In front of them was a giant gate with clear information. Lair of the mutated goblin warrior. Rarity, rare. Type, party instance. Feature, single boss. Description, the dwelling of a warrior who was once a legendary and brave green goblin until he was cursed and cast out by his tribe. Player limit, 4. Level requirement, below level 10. Do-hyun then turned around and announced, well then, shall we begin? The other members, though still worried, agreed. I'm ready. Mikan even added, I've studied the strategy guide more than 10 times. I'll do my best not to make any mistakes. However, right after they said those words, the air suddenly fell silent. The four of them just looked at each other until Top CEO remembered his duty. He slowly stepped forward. Then he placed a hand on the gate and declared, then I will now begin the entry process. A system notification quickly appeared. Party leader, Top CEO, is requesting to enter the lair of the mutated goblin warrior. Do you agree? This time, Bingong declared loudly, let's go. Mikan was just as determined. Let's do this. Do-hyun looked amused. Agree. Information from the system window continued to appear. Checking number of participating members. Verifying entry level. After successful verification, the gate opened for them. Entering the domain of the mutated goblin warrior. Excitement grew on Do-hyun's face. It's been a while since I've stretched my legs. Let's warm up a bit. The group stood before the gate, carefully observing the surrounding space. They slowly moved forward. The torches on the walls lit up in unison. The target to be conquered quickly appeared. Mutated Goblin Warrior. HP 20,000/20,000. Title Boss. Type Goblin. Trait Mutated Warrior. Extreme Physical Enhancement. Once the greatest of his tribe, a curse transformed his skin color and stole his sanity. He was exiled after a frenzied massacre. This goblin warrior wore a twisted grin on its face. It let out a threatening roar, causing the ceiling to tremble. Seeing this, Top CEO remarked, so this is a boss. Mikan couldn't help but feel a little anxious. This is, until Do-hyun's voice cut in. It's charging. The goblin warrior targeted them and attacked. At the same time, Top CEO made an observation. No matter how skilled Kaiser is. He glanced back, assessing Do-hyun. He can't protect all three of us. Then Top CEO looked at the other two party members. At the very least, he finally made a decision. I need to show what I can do, too. The goblin warrior continued its show of force. An order was given by Top CEO to the team members. Everyone spread out. Now, they quickly moved in different directions. Top CO moved while cautiously observing. The first mechanic. Just as he thought of it, the goblin warrior charged forward. Its head slammed into the rock. A system notification appeared. The mutated goblin warrior is stunned for 2 seconds. Bingong and Mikan took the opportunity to cast their magic. Their attacks hit the mark. However, the goblin warrior was completely unfazed. Top CO's eyes widened. He gritted his teeth as he looked at the great sword in its hand. The goblin warrior struck down. Top CO struggled to block it. He even activated a skill. Passive skill, Guardian has been activated. A system notification appeared. Defense, vitality, and stamina stats will increase when teammates are behind you. Top CO turned around and signaled. I've drawn its aggro. A blue light appeared as Du Hyun launched an attack. The goblin warrior cried out in pain after taking the full force of the blow. An explosion was created almost instantly. This made Top CO comment with delight, excellent. Everything is going smoothly. At this rate, we can get through phase 1 safely. From behind, Bingong shouted a warning. The next mechanic is about to happen. But he still didn't understand. What is he talking about? Everyone knows that, in theory, that mechanic only appears when its health drops to 10,000. And the goblin warrior's HP was currently 982/20,000. Top CO was bewildered as he saw the monster preparing to attack. However, Du Hyun acted in time. He closed the distance and attacked it in the blink of an eye. The goblin warrior roared in pain from the heavy wound. Even Top CO was just as surprised. Du Hyun didn't stop there. A self-satisfied smile was on his face, along with a declaration. Mechanic dealt with. The two of them sat on a stone bench. The reporter said, Sir Kaiser, your team has conquered all the most difficult dungeons today. You are hailed as a member of the strongest party to have ever existed. Could you reveal the secret to your success? Du Hyun smiled brightly and replied, Our secret? Perhaps, it's just that each of us plays to our strengths. Every word he said was jotted down in her small notebook. The reporter actively engaged with him. Normally, the structure of a standard party includes 4 key roles: tank, damage dealer, healer, and support. She had a question. However, I noticed your party lacks a tank. Is it feasible to go on a raid without that position? On this topic, Du Hyun thought for a moment. A tank. They certainly play a very important role. Du Hyun had considered finding one, but the role was so crucial that no one had taken it on. They have to face the boss directly, block its attacks, and bear the full brunt of the damage. It's an essential responsibility, because he felt he was the missing piece. That's why I took on that role myself. This unexpected answer left the reporter speechless. Wait, what? Du Hyun just chuckled and glanced at her. In a recent battle, his team had to deal with a ferocious long-nosed goblin. Even Top CO couldn't have expected this. How is that possible? It was Du Hyun who charged in alone and defeated it. Even true warriors have a hard time stopping its attacks with control skills. Yet he was able to break its attack pattern without using any control skills. He only had a small sword in his hand, but every slash was critical. And he was in the damage dealer position, no less. Even with its giant sword, the goblin couldn't do anything to Du Hyun. It roared fiercely in frustration. He wasn't afraid at all and charged forward with fervor. An attack like this is nothing. With a single slash, he sealed its limbs. The whole team was both joyful and surprised. Bingong praised Du Hyun endlessly. Oh my god, look at how he only aims for the weak points. It's insane. So terrifying. He just blocked its attack again. Suddenly, Top CO was startled by what he saw. The goblin's health bar had dropped significantly after just a few of Du Hyun's slashes. The boss's health is down to 20%. Seeing the opportunity, he ordered the team to advance. The second phase is about to begin. Everyone, get ready for the next attack. Bingong had his crossbow ready. Mikan also had her staff at the ready. Roger. At that moment, the system announced, the mutated goblin warrior's health has fallen below 20%. The mutated goblin warrior is now activating its trait. The goblin's muscles tensed, bulging with veins. It had transformed to become stronger. They were also ready for a decisive battle. The system announced, the trait named Warrior has been activated. The goblin let out a ferocious roar that shook the entire area. The system continuously provided information. All of its stats have skyrocketed, and it has entered a berserk state. The mutated trait has also begun to activate. Du Hyun got into a stance to beat it to a pulp. Come on. The mutated trait was activating within the goblin, a power unlike the norm. It grants a unique skill to each boss. The power given to the mutated goblin warrior this time is a rule. It's also known as 007 Bang. The system continuously analyzed. If physical damage is dealt 4 or more times in a row, the entire party will be afflicted with a debuff. If magic damage is dealt 3 or more times in a row, all attacks will be reflected back to the player. As it roared, a strange heat radiated from within it. It blew them back a little. Due to the influence of the warrior trait's berserk state, all players' attack and movement speed are reduced by 4%. Bingong spoke up. Just dealing with this monster normally was tiring enough, and now there's a weakening effect on top of it? But only Du Hyun was unaffected. The hero trait has prevented mental contamination. The berserk effect has been nullified. You are completely immune to the effects of the mutation. When he realized his inner power was activating. So that's it. That means those debuffs have no effect on me, right? Top CO saw their worry and reassured them. Hey everyone, stay calm and don't accidentally attack it. Focus all your energy on dodging at all costs. Bingong cooperated perfectly. We understand. Then he remembered Du Hyun and turned to ask about his situation. You don't have any objections to this, do you, Kaiser? But Du Hyun was strangely calm. He told them, just wait here for a moment. This statement confused Top CO. What did you say? Suddenly, Du Hyun's eyes flashed with blood-red sparks, and his whole body radiated killing intent. He smirked and said, I'll go up there and handle it. This action made Top CO unable to believe his eyes. In an instant, Du Hyun had dashed right up to the goblin's feet. It thought it could crush him with a single blow, so it laughed triumphantly. However, it was mistaken. He used only the tiny sword in his hand to block its terrifying club. Du Hyun's eyes blazed. In less than a second, he delivered countless slashes all over the goblin's body. It let out a pathetic scream. Bingong wondered, why? Why aren't the control effects affecting him? Mikan also found it strange. While all of us are struggling with abnormal statuses, everything happened so fast. Top CO couldn't believe Du Hyun's extraordinary ability. What the hell is going on? Wasn't he just considered a god of damage before? He looked up, his mouth agape. And now, right at this moment, he looks just like. No matter how many times the goblin slashed, it couldn't stop Du Hyun's attacks. Du Hyun's appearance at this moment was no different from a true god of war. He slashed at the side of its neck. It let out a low groan. Then he attacked from behind again. In Top CO's eyes now, Du Hyun was like a player who could hack the game. ID, Kaiser. You have successfully leveled up. Your swordsmanship proficiency has been raised. Your swordsmanship level has reached level 7. Thanks to the effect of level 7 swordsmanship, damage from swords will be increased by 7%. The goblin charged like a mad beast. It was furious and slashed repeatedly at Du Hyun. He just glared at it and reacted with lightning speed, swinging his sword and landing a precise hit. He didn't just strike once. He struck continuously without tiring, each blow accurate to the millimeter. Another slash, and another. The system was busy announcing his achievements. You have successfully leveled up. Your swordsmanship proficiency has been raised. Your swordsmanship level has reached level 7. The goblin was beaten so badly it couldn't defend itself. Thanks to the rage effect, you will deal an additional 10% damage to boss-type entities. Du Hyun leaped up to deliver the final blow. Before it could even see him, he had circled behind it and slashed down. Thanks to the rage effect, you will deal an additional 10% damage to boss-type entities. Du Hyun's eyes turned crimson as he poured all his strength into this slash. A heavy blow landed on its back. The goblin screamed as if it were being torn apart, blood splattering everywhere. Then it collapsed to the ground and died. The system immediately announced, you have successfully defeated the mutated goblin warrior. This dungeon has been officially conquered. Bingong's eyes widened in disbelief. Mikan was also extremely shocked. Top CO said, sweating, I wanted to talk about Kaiser. Bingong, not understanding, asked him, what's wrong with him? He still hadn't recovered, his mind full of questions. Could it be that he's the Real Sir Kaiser? This statement surprised them both. What? They all watched Du Hyun's every move meticulously. Du Hyun stood on the back of the dead goblin, exuding an air of victory. The system window appeared. The system has calculated the completion time. Completion time, 29 minutes, 58 seconds. Current rankings. First place, Top CEO's Party, 29 minutes and 58 seconds. Second place, Anonymous Party, 35 minutes and 11 seconds. Third place, Masajiker's Party, 42 minutes and 12 seconds. Fourth place, Other Parties, 44 minutes and 7 seconds. He rested his sword on the ground as the system continued its analysis. You have reclaimed the top spot on the time attack leaderboard. Additional rewards will be given based on contribution level. 1. Kaiser. 2. Top CEO. 3. Mikon. 4. Ayubingong. Immediately after, items slowly materialized. The reward for the highest contributor has been sent. You have received the Mutated Goblin Warrior's red leather armor. You have received the Mutated Goblin Warrior's red gauntlets. You have received the weapon, Greatsword of the Mutated Goblin Warrior. You have obtained the title Throne of the Time Trial. Throne of the Time Trial. Description: this is a noble title for the one who stands at the top of the speed run. Effect: refresh each time a new record is set. All stats will be permanently increased according to the achievement. Effect: acceleration. The time trial is a relentless chase between predator and prey. The holder of the throne must always move faster. Increases all speeds by 10%. Stat bonus from current record, plus 5 to all attributes. Du Hyun smiled smugly. Just as I predicted. These goblins. His giggling face was both frightening and captivating. Are most beautiful when they're chopped into pieces. Bingong couldn't help but exclaim, "Oh my god, isn't that a hero rank title?" Mikon's eyes also sparkled. These bonus attributes are really rare. She thanked him profusely. Thank you, big bro. Without you, we wouldn't have dared to dream of such amazing rewards. She added, thank you so much, Kaiser. Du Hyun smiled kindly and said it was nothing. Suddenly, someone called out, Sir Kaiser. Top CEO looked at him, his head slightly bowed, and asked, Can you please look at the names just registered on the ranking board? The system displayed the leaderboard. Current rankings. First place, Top CEO's Party, 29 minutes and 58 seconds. Second place, Anonymous Party, 35 minutes and 11 seconds. Third place, Masajiker's Party, 42 minutes and 12 seconds. Fourth place, Other Parties, 44 minutes and 7 seconds. 10th place, Slides Party, 46 minutes and 35 seconds. Top CEO looked remorseful and said to Du Hyun, I should have changed the party name beforehand. He stammered and bowed his head. I'm truly sorry. Du Hyun scratched the side of his head and gave a wry smile. He thought to himself, actually, having your name in the number 1 spot on the leaderboard is an enormous privilege. A red flag waved in his mind. They might even get called by the top 10 guilds thanks to the resounding achievements they just made. Looking at Top CEO's face now, Du Hyun felt that even though this was just a dungeon in a beginner city, taking the top spot was still a significant milestone. He remembered that back with the glowing golden eyes. And more than that, standing in a higher position than even Masajiker. Top CEO apologized to Du Hyun again. I'm sorry for accidentally causing you trouble. He offered, whether it's monetary compensation or anything else, just ask. I'll do my best to repay you. A slight smile played on Du Hyun's lips. He said calmly, it's fine. Top CEO was very surprised to hear this. Du Hyun explained, it was unintentional. Anyway, the system automatically uses the party leader's name for the rankings. Besides, I didn't think we'd get first place either. Du Hyun suddenly felt a sense of relief. Whatever, it's just a name on a list. A shining halo? Attracting that kind of attention would just be tiring. Immediately after, a greedy smile appeared on his face. Du Hyun thought, the only thing I care about is the reward. The system then displayed information about a greatsword. Du Hyun looked at it for a moment and wondered, this set is called the Warrior set. He analyzed it in his head. The quality ranges from rare to rare plus. These are the best items a player at the current level can possess. His pupils contracted. His delighted smile appeared. An ignoble emotion flashed through his mind. And I got such amazing items. So, how could I possibly be upset? He thought and smiled. But he seemed to have forgotten the presence of others, making him look like a madman laughing to himself. Top CEO asked worriedly, are you really okay? Du Hyun was once again possessed by his inner demon. He came to his senses and opened his eyes, looking as if he didn't understand what had just happened. Then he waved his hand and smiled. He spoke normally again. Yes, I'm fine. So don't feel so guilty about it. Bingong gave a formal salute as if obeying an order and thanking Du Hyun. Thank you, big bro. From now on, I will be absolutely loyal to you. Mikon cheered. Kaiser is number one. Only Top CO was still lost in thought. He's on a completely different level. The system displayed a notification. The dungeon session will end shortly. Suddenly, a strong blue light appeared and created a three-dimensional portal. Top CO turned and said, Hey Woojin. Bingong replied, What's up? Top CO confessed, To be honest, when I read the articles praising Kaiser online, I thought they were exaggerating. He admitted, but now I understand. Top CO looked at Kong Du Hyun's back and said with certainty, This is the true power of Kaiser. Du Hyun turned back and asked, Aren't you coming? Top CO was flustered. Yes, I'm coming right now. Top CO quickly stepped through. Then they all entered the portal. The magical energy transported them elsewhere. The place they arrived at was the back alley of Artis City. They entered an item shop. Bingong exclaimed, It looks completely different from the outside. Mikon's jaw dropped with curiosity. It's like magic. How can the scenery be so different? Du Hyun looked around and was suddenly drawn to something. At the counter was a person completely covered by a hood. The guy seemed to be the shop owner, but wasn't very friendly to customers. He asked in a gruff voice, Who are you people? The man was the alchemist, Kaze. Bingong said defensively, He seems pretty scary. Mikon agreed. He looks like a pervert. Top CO gestured for them to be quiet. Don't judge people by their appearance. The man said, I hope you're not here to tell me you've given up. Kaze added, There are many people waiting to be helped, but I still need more blood for my research. Du Hyun placed a vial firmly on the table. Inside was a red liquid. The man was startled and said, This is the blood of a mutated goblin warrior? Kaze seemed to go crazy. You actually found it? It's only been about 40 minutes. Du Hyun calmly replied, What you said is absolutely correct. Kaze showed his admiration. Unbelievable. To defeat that mutated monster so quickly. The system displayed a stat. The effect of the title, Max Favorability from the start, has been activated. Favorability has increased significantly. Your intimacy with Kaze has greatly increased. You have completed the quest Blood of the Mutated Goblin Warrior. Images of the rewards appeared. Rewards received include 1 gold coin, a large amount of experience, and the silver ring crafted by Kaze himself. You have leveled up. You have leveled up again. Each person in the party leveled up. Their systems notified them non-stop. You have passed Trial O. The ranking results of Trial O will not be saved. You can now move to the main continent. You have received a reward, 1 low-grade skill draw ticket. You have received an additional random skill draw ticket for reaching level 10. Bingong cheered joyfully. Finally, main continent, here I come. Mikon screamed even louder. This is amazing. A series of images and information from the system arrived. You have obtained a reward for completing special conditions. You have acquired an autograph postcard from Kaze. Kaze's autograph postcard. Rarity, Rare Plus. Description, a postcard bearing Kaze's handwritten signature. Du Hyun looked at the reward and thought, a special gift? Alright, I can check that later. He clicked on a section of the system. This is the most important part. The moment I've been waiting for since leaving the Pantheon. A series of hidden cards appeared on the screen. Then they were released in streams of light. The cards floated in the air. Du Hyun looked at them and thought, compared to the Pantheon, this place seems a little less majestic. Suddenly, he activated another skill that took the shape of a golden eye, making his own eyes glow with a metallic light. The system announced, the skill, Eye of Truth, has been activated. He thought to himself, maybe because this is just a low-grade skill draw ticket. The golden cards just flew around. So there's nothing particularly special to pay attention to. The system reported, you have learned the skill Charged Slash. Charged Slash. Rarity, Common. Restriction, Swordsman class only. Description, you can dash in a designated direction while performing a sword swing. Effect, deals damage equivalent to 150% of attack power. Dash distance is proportional to movement speed. The higher the attack speed, the faster the skill activates. Cooldown, 10 seconds. Du Hyun evaluated. This Charged Slash skill isn't bad. Du Hyun checked for more information, smiling as he remembered the past. Back in Demrock, I used this one a lot. Still, the real prize I'm aiming for is something else. More cards were drawn from the system. Do-hyun thought, it's the ticket that allows a random skill draw from common to legendary rank. The system asked, do you want to use the random skill draw ticket now? Before he could react, the system announced, your login time has expired. You will be logged out in 5 seconds. Do-hyun had to exclaim, what? The game system explained the situation. Login time restriction. This is a system designed to prevent players from suffering from exhaustion or game addiction due to being too immersed in this hyper-realistic virtual world. He realized he had lost track of real time. Have 10 hours already passed? Only 3 seconds left on the countdown. The card began to glow. The system counted down to 2. He was so tense that sweat soaked his shirt. The cards glowed brighter and brighter. The system reached the final second. Do-hyun grabbed the system panel in horror. He began to fade from the area. The system announced, login duration has ended, forcing disconnection. After a moment, 1, then 2, then 3 cards appeared. Do-hyun stared at the screen so intensely that he was sweating buckets. Those cards emitted a bright light. The system had now counted down to 1. Do-hyun screamed in terror. The system announced, your connection time has expired. The system is performing a disconnection. At that moment, in the hibernation pod, Do-hyun woke up after a long sleep, but he couldn't move to get out. After a while, he suddenly let out a blood-curdling scream. Time passed until the next morning. Do-hyun was so anxious that even sitting in his chair, he was trembling. The clock now struck 10. He gritted his teeth and thought, success. Then he returned to the hibernation pod and lay down. The system immediately began its analysis. Performing retinal scan. Authenticating ID card information. ID card verification complete. Data synchronization complete. Establishing connection to the game GODS. Do-hyun's mind was transported to another dimension. Welcome back to the paradise of adventures. We wish you an exciting and memorable journey. The back alley of Artis City. The scenery was that of an old town. Do-hyun stood anxiously in a corner. He was extremely tense as he looked at the system screen. I need to check this quickly. At that moment, I definitely saw a golden light. The text displayed, you have one new, unviewed skill. Opening skill inventory. Inside were only the cards from before. Do-hyun let out a sigh of relief. I see. He thought the glowing cards meant there was a problem and had been worrying about it. I thought it would be a legendary rank skill, but it wasn't what I expected. Anyway, my luck with item drops has been pretty good lately. At the same time, Do-hyun also received a new skill. Backstab. Rarity, Hero. Restriction, Assassin class only. Description, approach an opponent from behind to cause confusion and deal massive damage. Effect, teleport behind a target within a certain range. At this moment, the enemy will be marked for a period of time, and the skill can be reactivated once before the mark disappears. Upon reuse, the player will close in on the target again and deliver a critical strike based on the damage accumulated on the mark. Cooldown, 50 seconds. He was a bit surprised by this common-looking skill. Backstab. This old town was always full of assassins. This was the signature skill that made assassins famous. It was the reason why ranged players always had to be wary when facing assassins. They could strike at any moment. Even if you tried to create a safe distance, this was still an overpowered skill that could close the gap in the blink of an eye. And yet, Do-hyun had acquired such a dangerous skill. When he realized it, he became smug. But why did it fall into my hands? If I can just collect a few more things like this. His smile became more and more twisted. His mind filled with slightly malicious thoughts. Then whether it's PvP or monster hunting, I'll definitely become the perfect damage dealer, able to crush everything. At that moment, 2 soldiers, a man and a woman, were walking and talking together. I've studied all the guides carefully, so just leave everything to me. Really? Of course. The young man was surprised when he saw Do-hyun. He was fantasizing so much that his head felt like it was about to explode. He stood unsteadily. A wisp of smoke escaped Do-hyun's mouth. His eyes were bloodshot, looking like a demon from hell. Do-hyun's bizarre appearance frightened the 2 of them. The young man said, that guy looks a little crazy. The girl agreed. We should take another route to be safe. Then they took off running as if their lives depended on it. Only then did Do-hyun realize where he was. I wonder what happened to make them run. He looked at the system screen. his heart filled with joy. Anyway, I've got a new skill. Should I try on the new equipment I just got? In his inventory was a full set of armor. Red leather armor of the mutated Goblin Warrior. Pauldrons of the mutated Goblin Warrior. Greatsword of the mutated Goblin Warrior. Silver ring refined by Kaze. With this much equipment, I won't look like a weakling who's easy to bully anymore. Du Hyun equipped it all without hesitation. He was itching for a fight. Well then, shall we head to the main continent? The system complied with his wish. You will be transported to Javan, the first city of the main continent. In a moment, once you set foot on the main continent, you will not be able to return to Arda. A blue energy portal opened. The countdown began. 5. Du Hyun looked back at the town one last time. I just left yesterday without saying goodbye to anyone. His companions in this stage of the game, Top Seo, Bingong, and Mikon. He silently thanked them. After all, I've started to feel a bit attached to them. I feel a little regretful. The clock didn't wait, counting down to 2. Du Hyun pushed the thought aside. Whatever. If we're fated to, we'll definitely meet again. He stepped into the portal as the system announced, initiating transfer to the main continent. Du Hyun was transported to the main gate of a large square. All the players who had completed their training in Arda carried great expectations as they took their first steps onto the main continent. Everyone was talking to each other happily. He noticed it too. Unlike Arda, which was divided into separate servers by country, this was a place where players from all over gathered to form parties together. Looking at the scenery ahead and the challenges awaiting, Du Hyun was ready to step onto the first starting point of his journey, Javan, the starting city. Suddenly, a soldier shouted, "Everyone, make way! The Knights of Javan have returned after successfully completing their mission." A bound man was being escorted. "Let me go?" The soldier yelled. "Stay still, you shameless bastard." The system then displayed a mission for Du Hyun. Upon entering the main continent, locked systems will be unlocked. Newbie benefits will officially disappear. Instead, you can experience many other features such as the arena, duels, and crafting workshops. Javan is a city that symbolizes the beginning of a new journey. Enjoy your adventure on the new stage opening up on the main continent. Tip: if you become the victim of a crime in the city of Javan, do not hesitate to report it to the guards. After reading it, Du Hyun was a little surprised. They weren't kidding when they said the real game only begins when you reach the main continent. Suddenly, a fat man came up to him with an offer. "Hey brother, come taste some beer, a famous specialty of Javan. That red outfit really suits you." A seafood shop owner and a professional-looking chef also came to invite him. "When you have time, please visit our shop. I'll definitely give you lots of extra gifts." For a man, there's nothing better than a hot bowl of guinea pig soup. Du Hyun sighed and thought, now I understand why so many people forget about hunting just to spend time sightseeing in this city. He unconsciously replied, "This is amazing." But he had a main mission to complete. Du Hyun slapped his face to snap out of it. "I need to get a grip. I can enjoy all that later." Du Hyun drew his sword and thought, well then, should I go for a hunt first? There were only goblins here, and he defeated them all. Du Hyun was now on the Javan plains. He was fighting the goblins blocking his path. The system was busy calculating points. Warrior set attribute activated. Intimidation effect gained. When facing goblin-type enemies, deal an additional 7% damage and gain +2 to all stats. Du Hyun's power grew stronger and stronger. He thought confidently, there's no equipment more effective than this set for dealing with goblins. The system even helped him analyze. The goblins are being intimidated by the effect of the warrior set. The red goblin is feeling extremely scared. The green goblin's fighting spirit has completely collapsed. Du Hyun used the charged slash skill. Without much effort, he could cut down the entire group of goblins into pieces in an instant. The system calculated the points again. Additional damage dealt thanks to the effect of the warrior set. You have defeated the red goblin. You have successfully eliminated the green goblin. After a while, Du Hyun's feet had been on the ground for at most 10 seconds. His speed was so fast they couldn't even land a single blow in return, and a whole pile of them fell instead. The system added points for the items. The greatsword's attack power increases after finishing off an enemy. Du Hyun grinned with delight. This feeling is so exhilarating. This warrior set is truly top-notch. He thought to himself, This set already has very high base stats, and it gets an extra 7% bonus damage on top of that. A weapon that gets stronger with every hunt. Luck just keeps coming. It made him feel as ecstatic as exploding fireworks. This is awesome. The feeling of beating up low-level monsters is just the best. Do-hyun looked at the panel and smiled. I'm also completing quests very smoothly. With just a little more effort, I'll level up soon. Suddenly, his hunter's instinct flared up as he sensed something was wrong. What's that? He glanced over and saw an invisible figure rushing towards him, dagger in hand. Do-hyun found it strange. A person? The figure dashed forward, intending to stab Do-hyun. He thought, isn't that the warrior's set? There's no better prey than a rich newbie. Suddenly, the dagger in his hand paused for a moment. So then, Do-hyun just stood still. The man lunged forward like lightning. Thanks for the meal. But he never expected it. Do-hyun just tilted his sword and blocked his attack. His invisibility seal was broken. Killing intent rose from Do-hyun. He glared at him and said, "What the hell is this?" Assassin. Seeing that Do-hyun had the upper hand, he immediately jumped back. Unexpectedly, he had accomplices. What are you guys doing? You bastards, finish him off quickly. From above, an archer shot an arrow. But in a flash, he had slashed both arrows out of the air. Another man with an axe also charged forward frantically. Do-hyun blocked it with his sword and knocked it aside. Quick as a flash, he spun his sword and killed the man on the spot, giving him no chance to dodge. The archer and the assassin froze at the sight. Damn it! The assassin gritted his teeth, wanting to escape. He thought to himself, this is absurd. How can a newbie? But unfortunately for him, Do-hyun had already activated a skill. A mark has been created on the target. The moment he turned around, Do-hyun was already standing in front of him, waiting. Do-hyun just carried the great sword on his shoulder, but his aura was overwhelming, like a god from hell rising. He chuckled and greeted him warmly. Are you lost? To Do-hyun, no matter where you go, there are always people who will never listen to you. And in the world of games, this was no exception. The scene of an arena appeared. It wasn't an official match in the arena, but an illegal slaughter. In other words, they were called pikers. They had existed in Demrock, and now they were running rampant in GODS. Some did it for fun, some for plunder, or to vent their anger. No matter how different the reasons were, when asked about the most hated type of person, 9 out of 10 people would answer. It's those who specifically hunt new players. An image of veteran players surrounding a new player. Do-hyun thought, they usually target players who have just left the newbie village, kill them, and steal all their possessions. Just like the guy standing in front of me right now. His eyes flashed with a cruel light. He smiled and asked warmly, are you lost? His system announced, the mark on the target has disappeared. The assassin boy looked up in fear and confusion. Backstab? The man's eyes were filled with fear. How the hell can a swordsman use backstab? In an instant, the man was eliminated from the game. Do-hyun's system reported, you have killed the player named Asishur. You have killed the player named Triethan. Do-hyun continued to eliminate them one by one. The notification sound kept ringing. You have defeated the player named Kanthiapmai. These players have been classified by the system as villains. Your actions are determined to be self-defense. Karma points will not be increased. After seeing this, he thought, this part works exactly the same as in Demrock. Do-hyun's eyes were strangely calm. Perhaps Arda, with all its privileges for new players, was just an exception. Do-hyun remembered his old teammates. And the people there were also unusually kind. He compared them to the guys lying scattered on the ground that he had just defeated. But the reality here is always full of terrible guys like this. Holding the item in his hand, Do-hyun didn't pay much attention anymore. Anyway, let's put that aside. First, I need to go collect my quest rewards. The system chimed. You have completed the Goblin Extermination quest. Your reward is 70 silver and experience points. You have completed the Hunter's Request quest. You receive an additional 80 silver, experience points, and a beast tooth necklace. Your level has increased. You have reached level 17. The path to the west gate is now open. The final gate finally opened. He smiled with a triumphant face. Finally, I've reached the west gate. Do-hyun observed his surroundings, identifying this as the western forest area of Javan. He gathered information from others and learned that it was a hunting ground that even NPCs were wary of and warned others about. He concluded that this place was the complete opposite of the sprawling fields at the east gate. This place was a dense forest with suffocatingly limited visibility. It wasn't just crawling with goblins, but also filled with giant insects. Sudden ambushes from goblins, an image of other warriors fighting goblins and giant wasps, and insect attacks from hidden corners between rocks and tree trunks. Do-hyun understood this place well before he arrived. For that reason, the difficulty of the West Forest is extremely terrifying. There were also more mysterious things, and it was gradually becoming the rule. And of course, an unwritten rule had formed in this place. You must form a party of at least 3 members. That's why the area in front of the West Gate was always packed with people. Right now, in front of the West Gate of Javan, many players were gathered, bustling about forming parties. They shouted for others to join. Looking for party. Have a tank and 2 DPS waiting. Someone else was looking for 1 more melee DPS. Someone else just wanted, I really need help to get through this area. Another group was stuck, causing their leader to rack his brain. Our group is just missing a single healer. Their numbers were truly too few. The blonde man standing next to him with his arms crossed seemed a bit annoyed. Healers are really a rare commodity. Not many people enjoy playing that class. It's also extremely difficult, especially when you want to level up. The big, dark-haired man suddenly pointed towards the gate. Hey, look at that guy. He sneered. Another fool just walked in. There are always a few people like him. Do-hyun's back stood out so much among the crowd that it caught their attention even from a distance. The light brown-haired guy also judged him with contempt. This is ridiculous. Even the top players on the leaderboard have to party up to dare enter the West Forest. They gathered together to badmouth him. Who does he think he is, going in alone? Do-hyun heard everything, but just smirked at them. Now, in the middle of the dense, desolate forest, the sky was shrouded in red. A decisive slash into a goblin shattered the silence. The system announced, you have defeated a red goblin in the forest. Do-hyun charged forward with his great sword, and wherever he swung, goblins died. One jumped down from above. Unfortunately for it, he had already planted his sword in the ground. Then he flipped over its back. After that, he just used one leg to kick it far away. The goblin tumbled several times and nearly face-planted into the ground. It struggled to get back up. But as luck would have it, before it could do anything, he slashed it and it vanished. Suddenly, he sensed something flying towards him from behind. Do-hyun turned and swung his sword, slashing the arrow. The goblin archer in the tree was momentarily startled by his sharp senses. Before it could escape, he had charged at it with his great sword in hand. The large blade flew by, cutting its upper body in half. Looking back, only its lower half remained in a charging posture. The great sword fell to the ground with the force of the swing. Red goblins, from who knows where, were still numerous. When they saw he no longer had a weapon in his hand, the system also announced a critical warning. The effect from the warrior set has been deactivated. They charged forward recklessly like an invading army. Do-hyun handled it calmly. For trash mobs like these, I don't even need the full set. He still had something else in his hand. The system reported, weapon restrictions have been removed thanks to the Weapon Master title. Basic weapon skills have been unlocked thanks to the Adventurer trait. Skill unlocked. Now using the skill Backstab. He lunged forward faster than the speed of light. In a flash, he was right behind the goblin. He delivered a clean slash, ending its life. The system announced, you have just used the basic axe skill named Smash. The others charged forward in droves. He didn't move, but stood his ground firmly. Do-hyun swung the axe with one hand and killed them all. Each goblin was cleanly cut down with a single stroke. Do-hyun grinned with delight. The feeling of using an axe is pretty great, too. The system chimed. You have defeated another red goblin of the forest. Continuous kill notifications from the system. You have eliminated another red goblin. The image of the red goblins lying pathetically on the ground. The system reported his level-up stats. Your axe mastery has increased to level 2. He walked over and picked up his greatsword. Do-hyun checked his stats, items, and rewards again. He smiled. So the goblin hunting quest is done. Now to find the pendant and... Before he could finish his sentence, Do-hyun sensed danger and turned around. A giant monster centipede suddenly appeared. It growled and spat out sticky substances everywhere. Do-hyun's face momentarily turned pale. This is bad. The surrounding scenery was unusually chaotic. Birds flew about in a panic. The forest centipede was now charging frantically. It was aiming straight for Du Hyun. Seeing this, he roared. Without a moment's hesitation, Du Hyun drew his sword like a flash of lightning. His eyes, glinting with a red light, glanced towards the forest floor. At that exact moment, its eyes also glowed red as it roared. Du Hyun didn't hesitate and swung his sword down hard on the forest centipede's body. Immediately, a strange liquid spewed from its mouth. The forest centipede crashed to the ground, creating a thunderous noise. Du Hyun remained vigilant, staring intently at it. Suddenly, the centipede rose, its eyes blazing as it targeted him. Seeing this, Du Hyun was slightly startled. Before he could react, the centipede lunged at him. Luckily, he reacted in time to block it with his greatsword. Du Hyun's face was serious as he stared it down. Suddenly, Du Hyun summoned another weapon and exclaimed in annoyance, "You're ugly and filthy. Why do you keep shoving that face of yours so close to me?" With that, he struck the forest centipede right in the face. It roared in pain. Seizing the opportunity, he aimed straight for it. Then he delivered a critical blow. After this slash, it showed no more signs of life and rolled over on the ground. Immediately, the system displayed a series of notifications. You have defeated a giant forest centipede. Your swordsmanship proficiency level has increased to 10. You have leveled up. Du Hyun let out a sharp exhale. He planted his sword firmly in the ground. The system panel continuously updated. Player, Kaiser. Level, 19. HP, 170/350. Class, The Last Adventurer. Titles, 3, Max Favorability from the Start, The First Slayer, Throne of the Time Trial. Strength, 35+38. Agility, 35+37. Constitution, 5+37. Perception, 22+36. Mana, 5+34. So I've gained 2 more levels. Du Hyun pensively looked at the notification panel before him. Although the process was quite arduous, this leveling speed can be considered pretty good. Most of the quests have been resolved. He rested his hand on his chin and thought, now, all that's left is... The system sent a new notification. The Lost Pendant. Rarity, Common Plus. Description. This is a request from Camilla, a little girl whose precious necklace was taken by a mischievous cat. Help her find it in the area outside the West Gate. Lost Pendant, 0/1. Reward upon completion, 1 gold, a certain amount of experience, and a small gift from Camilla. Penalty for failure. Camilla's favorability may decrease. Time remaining, 1 hour, 24 minutes, 17 seconds. Du Hyun was surprised to receive this quest. This is the only quest with a Common Plus rating. Receiving the quest, Du Hyun said flatly, well, this quest isn't really that difficult. Its location is already clearly marked on the map, so all I have to do is go there and pick it up. With that, he left. The next day, the sound of chatter and notifications filled the air. Now, everyone please line up neatly. We're all in a hurry, so no cutting in line. Suddenly, a man shouted aggressively, "Hey, don't push people like that." The person opposite him retorted, "I didn't push you. What are you talking about?" Du Hyun looked around doubtfully. Is that tree over there where the necklace is supposed to reappear? Luckily, the line wasn't as long as I thought. If it were any more crowded, I'd probably have to wait a long time for my turn. Suddenly, Du Hyun heard voices from a distance. Hey, have you heard about the killer targeting low-level hunters? He glanced over at 2 men standing not far from him. You mean that bastard Asisher? I know him. He was causing trouble, so it's only natural he's paying the price now. The blonde man, after hearing the dark-haired man, replied, I heard he kept rambling on about someone named Kaiser, right? Hearing this, Du Hyun frowned and thought to himself, why is my name being dragged into this? The two of them, unaware of Du Hyun's presence, continued their discussion. Is that guy even real? He's probably just a huge fanboy. I mean, he keeps going on about a swordsman who can use an assassin's backstab skill. Who would believe such a ridiculous story? What kind of idiot would believe such a wild tale? Standing behind them, Du Hyun felt a little worried and thought, maybe I should just keep quiet and lay low for a while. Du Hyun's gaze darkened as he pondered. A swordsman who can master assassin skills and also possesses 6 different traits? The major guilds would never let someone like that be. He thought about the worst-case scenarios. Some parties might try to recruit me. And the number of people who want to eliminate me before I grow stronger will surely be even greater. Especially if there are many old members from Demrock in the top guilds. If they can't have it, they'll find a way to destroy it. That's always been their style. After a short rest, Du Hyun found the necklace. The system quickly appeared. You have successfully collected the lost pendant. Please bring this necklace to Camilla. Du Hyun clenched the necklace in his hand. It's still too early to reveal myself. The scene changes to Javan. A clear voice suddenly rang out. Oh, wonderful. This is my necklace. Thank you so much. If it weren't for your help, I probably would have never found it. Camilla's eyes sparkled with gratitude as she looked at him. The little girl. At the same time, the system announced, you have successfully completed the Lost Pendant quest. Your reward is 1 gold coin and a certain amount of experience, along with a small gift from Camilla. You have leveled up to a new level. You have reached level 20 and have been awarded a random skill draw ticket. Suddenly, Camilla presented a box to Du Hyun. She gently opened it and said, although this is my most treasured possession, because you were so kind, I'm giving it to you. The system then provided an analysis. Camilla's small gift. Camilla has a hobby of collecting strange objects. This is a random box containing the most precious item in her collection. No one knows what is actually inside. Rarity, common plus. Seeing this, Du Hyun bent down and patted the little girl's head. All right, thank you. Be more careful next time. Don't lose it again. Hearing him, Camilla obediently replied, yes, sir. Thank you so much. Her face couldn't hide her happiness. Suddenly, the system sent a flood of notifications. The effect of the title, Max Favorability from the start, has been activated. Current favorability is increasing dramatically. Camilla's favorability towards you has skyrocketed. After giving the necklace to Camilla, Du Hyun left. Goodbye. He turned back and smiled at the little girl. Maybe because she's so young, her favorability increases this quickly. He walked down the street, thinking, now I need to get started on the next quest. The system sent him a quest. Conquer the dungeon. Rarity, rare. Description, Rina, who is always wary of the West Forest, fears that the monsters will grow stronger if the dungeon is left abandoned for too long. Clear the dungeon located outside the West Gate. 0/1. Reward upon completion, 10 gold, a large amount of experience, and a low-grade skill draw ticket. Penalty for failure. May cause Rina to be disappointed in you. Time limit, 48 hours. Du Hyun thought to himself, since the reward includes a skill draw ticket, I absolutely can't miss such a good quest. Du Hyun remembered the scene. When it comes to dungeons at the West Gate, these two locations are the most prominent, the lair of the Goblin Chief and the Ant Tunnel. His eyes darkened slightly. Considering the warrior set I'm wearing, going to the Goblin Dungeon would be more advantageous. But, besides that, both of these are dungeons that require a party. If I can avoid it, I don't want to show off my special abilities too soon. At that moment, at the lair of the Goblin Chief, people were shouting. Looking for a mage. Fire mages preferred. Only accepting level 20 and above. Buying all kinds of items. Highest prices on the market. On-the-spot weapon repairs here. Anyone need their gear fixed? Du Hyun arrived and looked around. Even the production class players are all gathered here. Just then, a man approached a soldier and said, I'm a rogue. The soldier immediately refused. Our group doesn't accept rogues. Please know your own limits. Another soldier heard him and retorted, as long as we have the same goal of killing the Goblin Chief, shouldn't that be enough? But he insisted, no, it's best if you don't show up here. At that moment, over by Mekon, a crowd was pleading with her. Mage, please join our team. We're all level 20 with full gear. Please join our group. Come with us, miss. Seeing this, Du Hyun assessed the situation. It seems they're just lurking around looking for mages. It's understandable. In GODS, the value of a class is dictated by the boss's characteristics. At least in this dungeon, mages are the true kings and gods. The tricky part is that swordsmen are also considered useless here. So no one pays them any mind. Thinking this, his face grew gloomy. Suddenly, a voice called out, Hey, brother in the warrior set. Bastard's Word smiled warmly. If you haven't found a party you like yet, would you like to come with us for a run? Du Hyun looked at him blankly. You know I'm just a swordsman, right? Bastard's Word, the paladin, and the mage smiled at Du Hyun. Of course we know. Our levels are high too, but we're doing this run for a quest. so it doesn't really matter what class you are. He thought carefully to himself, something isn't right here. Should I play along with them for a bit and see? With that thought, Do-hyun scratched his head and looked at them. If you'll let me join, I'd be very grateful. Seeing this, Bastard's Word immediately replied, then I'll send you a party invitation right away. A notification immediately popped up. A party with the player Bastard Word has been formed. The information appeared before Do-hyun's eyes. Party, Bastard's Word, LV, 24, Amazon Holy Night, LV, 24, Rev, LV, 24, Kaiser, LV 20. Do-hyun frowned and thought, these guys, they've definitely figured out my real identity. Flashing back to before Bastard's Word met Do-hyun. He looked at him suspiciously. It's really him, isn't it? Valin replied, Kaiser. The one wearing the warrior set and carrying a great sword. The mage quickly added, it's definitely him. There's no one else around here who looks like that, right? After hearing this, Bastard's Word smiled cunningly. Indeed, that kind of equipment is rarely seen. After Do-hyun accepted their invitation, the group entered the cave. The system introduced it. Lair of the Goblin Chief. Rarity, rare. Type, normal dungeon. Description, once a brave warrior and a legend of the Green Goblin tribe, but due to a curse, he left his tribe and took up residence here. Player limit, 4. Level limit, level 24 and below. Do-hyun's group ventured deeper inside. Wherever they went, goblin corpses lay scattered. At the same time, a notification sounded. Red Goblin Scout has been defeated. The scout's death has been reported to the chief. After clearing a path, Bastard's Word spoke smugly easy. This is simple. Valin, standing beside him, chimed in, yeah, a piece of cake. Do-hyun, standing behind them, silently assessed them. Not bad. Their strength is quite stable. The team's coordination is also very good. Suddenly, the system chimed. The chief is afraid and has started sending out his troops. Everyone, prepare for battle. With that, from deep within the cave, glowing red eyes were fixed on the group. Bastard's Word said confidently to him, can you handle this, Kaiser? Valin also smiled at him. If it gets dangerous, we'll jump in to help right away. The mage then added, just think of this as a chance to practice our coordination. Give it a try. If anything happens, we'll help immediately. Do-hyun's sharp gaze swept over the three of them. So they want to test my skills, huh? All right, I'll play along with you for a bit. With that thought, he slowly walked forward. He reached for his sword and drew it. In a flash, Do-hyun charged straight in. The system announced, the skill Charging Slash has been used. In an instant, the goblins fell one after another. Seeing this, Bastard's Word smirked. It's really him. Valin added, we found the right person. He asked the paladin, what do you think? He replied, not bad. Valin watched his every move and made an assessment. He dodges dangerous attacks very well. Even with a great sword, his speed is still quite fast. Bastard's Word observed thoughtfully from a distance. With that kind of gear, in this area, he doesn't have to fear anyone. Valin spoke up, but I feel like something's wrong. Bastard's Word looked at him, confused. Wrong how? He then offered his analysis. You said that an assassin was defeated by a guy who only relies on his gear? High damage and fast speed? I'll give you that. But assassins are one of the top PvP classes. They have stealth, poison, and paralysis. And he's still lost in a 3v1? The mage, standing behind them, cut in. Why think so much about it? Our job is just to deal with him anyway. Seeing this, Bastard's Word patted the paladin on the shoulder. That's right. Let's finish this quickly. After this job, our debt is paid. Hearing this, he smiled cunningly. Okay, then let's get started. Bastard's Word then gave instructions. Keep your expression straight. Just act normal. Valin replied confidently, don't worry about that. On the other side, Do-hyun was still seriously dealing with the goblins. Seeing this, Valin pretended to run over. Kaiser, you're amazing. Bastard's Word also came over to chime in. We only invited you to be safe, but I get the feeling you could handle this whole place by yourself. Do-hyun, seeing this, also pretended to play along. It's nothing. Everyone here is skilled. Bastard's Word and the paladin continued to pretend. How did you guys manage to recruit someone so good? It's all thanks to my eye for talent. Do-hyun stood to the side, watching their faces and silently judging them. They let a team member fight alone, yet they can still put on such a shameless act. He stared at Bastard's Word. Depending on the situation, they could abandon me. And if I die, they'll definitely strip me of all my gear. Immediately, Bastard's Word smiled and exclaimed, "All right, that's enough rest. Shall we continue? Let's go." Do Hyun replied flatly, "Sounds good." Valine also chimed in. Bastard's Word thought sinisterly to himself, "I'll quietly send you off when I get the chance." Do Hyun looked at him with determination. That won't be easy. Before long, the group proceeded inside. They split up to eliminate the goblins. Do Hyun, with a powerful aura, eliminated the surrounding goblins. Suddenly, a conflict arose between Bastard's Word and the mage. They whispered to each other, "Hey, aim properly." "No, I definitely aim properly." But that goblin suddenly. The three of them seemed to be planning to eliminate Do Hyun. Or was he just lucky? Do Hyun, on his side, also pretended to play along with the three of them. "I deliberately left my back exposed, but they couldn't do anything. Maybe I should wait a little longer." Just then, the system sent a notification. "The boss gate has opened." The gate in front of them slowly creaked open. The goblin chief has detected the intruders. A wave of energy emanated towards the group. The elite Red Goblin army is trying to block the enemy's path. Elite Red Goblin. Title: Elite Monster. Type: Goblin. Trait: Tenacious. Description: among the Red Goblin soldiers, these are the most well-trained elite units. Elite goblins with hideous teeth appeared. They immediately charged towards Bastard Sword's group. He panicked and shouted, "Kaiser, could you please deal with these elite soldiers for a moment?" After that, before he could finish his sentence, the elite goblins were already close. Bastard's Word, not seeing Do Hyun, shouted, "Kaiser." Bastard Sword's face was contorted. "What the hell? Where did that bastard go?" Valine also panicked and exclaimed, "Hey, did he figure it out?" Suddenly, the mage pointed forward. "Look ahead." Bastard's Word was startled and looked up. The elite goblin had charged, and Bastard's Word had no choice but to rush forward and block it. Seeing this, Valine also rushed to help. He shouted loudly, "I'll hold it off. Everyone, finish it quickly." The mage heard this and quickly replied, "Roger." But before she could react, a giant object came crashing down towards her. The mage's eyes widened at the sight before her. A giant foot appeared. The Goblin Chief emerged from the doorway. Goblin Chief. Title: Rare Dungeon Boss. Type: Goblin. Traits: Cowardly, Selfish Defense, Vengeful. Description: a goblin carrying the bloodline of the greatest goblin war god of ancient times. However, over time, that bloodline has weakened. He cannot hide his cowardly nature, and cannot even control his own weight. Nevertheless, he is still the chief of this tribe, one who can go berserk for the sake of his comrades. Valine, struggling with all his might, exclaimed, "We'll draw its attention first, so while we do that, you should." Suddenly, the mage stammered, exclaiming in astonishment, "That bastard! How could he?" Do Hyun slowly approached from behind. "You guys." Bastard Sword's group turned their eyes towards him. The assassin. Do Hyun flashed a sinister smile. "You're his friends, aren't you?" The mage panicked and said, "Wait a minute. It's true we're enemies, but let's at least get through this dungeon together first. After all, we have to cooperate to clear this stage." Do Hyun's expression didn't change as he said flatly, "Well, that does make sense." Her face turned pale as she looked at him. "Exactly. Let's just focus on clearing the dungeon first." Do Hyun said nothing. His eyes glowed red. A single stab pierced through her body. He revealed a contemptuous look at Bastard Sword's group. "But I don't feel like it." The system immediately displayed a series of notifications. "You have defeated the player's Supreme Mage. This player has been identified as a villain, so your karma points will not increase." Do Hyun slung his sword over his shoulder and smirked to himself. "I knew it. These guys are all just a bunch of player killers." Then he instantly teleported out of the encirclement. Good thing I used backtrack to hide beforehand. Do Hyun hid behind a rock and observed silently. "I had a feeling, but I didn't expect this skill to work on corpses too." Bastard's Word, who was defending himself, roared, "You lunatic. You killed the mage too? Do you want us all to die together?" He smirked mockingly. "Do you know what my motto is?" He turned his head, slightly confused. "What?" Do Hyun summoned a dagger with a flick of his wrist. "I never team up with trash that specializes in backstabbing." He flashed a cruel smile and continued, Cooperating with people like that will only lead to a rotten end. Bastard Sword's face paled in astonishment. That's the assassin kid's dagger. How do you have it? Du Hyun brandished the dagger and asked back, it belonged to your friend. So you recognized it immediately, huh? You knew with just one look. He couldn't believe it and blurted out, unbelievable. How can a swordsman use that weapon? No, forget that. What are you planning to do with it? Bastard's Word gritted his teeth, blocking the elite goblin's sword, and threatened in a low voice. If you kill us, do you think you can complete this quest alone? Thinking of the goblin chief, his voice dropped. Do you know what the goblin chief's defense skill actually blocks? It counters all physical attacks. At this point, Bastard's Word angrily mocked him. That's why in this dungeon, mages are number one. What can you do with that flimsy little dagger? In response, there was only his flat voice. Status effects. Hearing this, he suddenly paused, full of doubt. What? Du Hyun raised the dagger and smiled mockingly. You think status effects are just for show? Bastard's Word was stunned by that smile. Are you crazy? You plan to kill that goblin with just the pathetic amount of bleed on that weapon? A cunning glint flashed in his eyes. If it were just normal bleed, it wouldn't be enough. Seeing that look, he involuntarily blurted out, what? The moment the words left his mouth, only a shadow remained where Du Hyun had been standing. In a flash, he had swept past Bastard's Word and his companion. Even so, he still cursed angrily. What the hell can this little bit of damage do? But before he could finish, a notification panel popped up. The difference in stats is too great. Activating the assassin's dagger effect. The system displayed another notification. Currently under the bleeding status effect. Damage is skyrocketing due to the overwhelming stat difference. HP has dropped below 50%. Bastard's Word, who was vomiting blood, froze when he heard that. Overwhelming stats? My level is higher, though? What does this mean? He looked desperately at Du Hyun and wondered, even if he has top-tier gear, I'm level 24, and he's only level 20. How big does the stat gap have to be for the bleed effect to be this terrifying? Sensing his gaze, he thought silently, you wouldn't understand. I got this bleed skill from a level 20 gacha ticket. At the same time, another information panel appeared. Bleeding. Rarity, rare. Requirement, rogue type. Effect. The next attack after using this skill will inflict a bleeding status for 10 seconds. If there is a large stat difference with the target, the effect may be reduced. Duration and damage will be adjusted accordingly. Cooldown, 15 seconds. Du Hyun thought with some surprise. The fact that it can stack is quite surprising. He seemed lost in his thoughts. Just like in Demrock or God, status effects usually don't stack if they're from the same class. Suddenly, Du Hyun looked up with a smug smile. But who would have thought there'd be someone like me, using a rogue skill on an assassin's weapon? Who knew? Just then, Bastard's Word spoke up. What kind of bleeding is this? It's a hack. A hack. He weakly clutched his wound and asked, You're a hacker, aren't you? As soon as he finished speaking, Bastard's Word collapsed, followed by a system notification. You have defeated the player, STV. This player has been identified as a villain, so your karma points will not be increased. You have defeated an elite red goblin. He sighed in frustration and thought, seriously, these guys can only ever say that one thing. As he was thinking, the paladin's roar suddenly echoed. Guan. He gritted his teeth and cursed silently. Damn it. Looking at the cold corpses of his comrades, Valian frantically wondered, how did things turn out like this? Where did I go wrong? As if remembering something, he suddenly froze in horror. No, from the very beginning. We should have never gotten involved in this. Just as the paladin was calculating, a sharp blade suddenly flashed by. I have to run. Right now? In a flash, Du Hyun had swept past his body. Valian coughed up a mouthful of blood as the system screen appeared. Currently under the bleeding status effect. Damage is skyrocketing due to the immense stat difference. Then the system displayed his stats. HP has dropped below 10%. Seeing this, he was stunned and wondered, what? Now, a second later, the paladin collapsed, accompanied by a system notification. You have defeated the player, Paladin Hookgun, followed by a series of notifications. This player has been identified as a villain, so your karma points will not be increased. You have defeated an elite red goblin. Du Hyun coldly asked, the damage is pretty decent, isn't it? After all, I did put 15 points into strength. I hope it was worth it. In another corner, the goblin chief was observing him. When it saw the corpses of its kind, it let out a few growls. Then the goblin chief suddenly roared, followed by a notification. The goblin chief is enraged by the death of its subordinates. The roar immediately caught Du Hyun's attention. Seeing it charge frantically towards him, he thought with annoyance. I almost forgot, that guy is still here. A spark of interest flashed in Du Hyun's eyes. Well, now shall we have some fun? In an instant, the goblin chief's massive body was upon him. Du Hyun didn't hesitate and dodged. He leaped up and gave it a kick. The goblin chief cried out from the blow. Watching its body fall, Du Hyun gave a slight, triumphant smile. As Du Hyun landed, the goblin chief crashed to the ground. But his eyes suddenly froze in astonishment. Hidden in the hazy smoke were glowing golden pupils. The moment it got up, a red screen appeared. The goblin chief's defense skill has been activated. Du Hyun didn't pause for a second and charged forward with his sword. He swept past, leaving a sharp trail of sword energy that tore through the massive body. The system continuously displayed its status. Currently under the bleeding status effect. HP has dropped below 40%. HP has dropped below 30%. Suddenly, it whipped around, its eyes filled with fear and anger, fixed on Du Hyun. He gave a wicked smile and clicked his tongue. All right, let's end this here. Feeling the murderous intent, the goblin chief let out a terrified shriek. Without hesitation, it panicked and turned to flee. Du Hyun frowned slightly and activated a skill. Using the skill Backstab. Meanwhile, the goblin chief was frantically trying to escape. But in a flash, he had caught up to it. Du Hyun smirked contemptuously. Where do you think you're going? That face immediately made it shriek in terror. Only a streak of bright red blood was left on the cliff face. With a thud, the system screen appeared again. You have defeated the dungeon boss, the Goblin King. Congratulations on clearing the dungeon. The achievement has been recorded in your adventure log. You have leveled up. A series of information panels appeared. Dagger skill proficiency has reached level 5. Goblin King's super belt. Rare. Requirement, level 20. Restriction, none. The leather belt of the Goblin King. It was made extremely sturdy to support his fat belly. He held the belt high in his hand with excitement. Nice. This is some quality stuff. I was just missing a belt. Talk about right person, right time. Du Hyun didn't hesitate and interacted with the screen. Goblin King's super belt. Unequipping will reduce Constitution by 1 point. Strength +1, Constitution +2. Seeing the result, he smiled with satisfaction and thought, not bad at all. If I consider the time, I might have already climbed onto the ranker board. But whatever, not every dungeon has a time limit. Anyway, not every place is a speed race. Then Du Hyun turned his head to look behind him. A little bit of a shame, but looking at that sparkling shield, he thoughtfully assessed it. I still have a pile of loot from those players too. The system's notification panel lit up before him. Item dropped from player has been collected. Silver shield. A shield made from silver iron, an extremely rare ore. Rare. Requirement, level 20. Restriction, shield using warrior class. Special effect, the more holy power it absorbs, the higher its damage reduction. Du Hyun exclaimed with interest, a rare item. Huh? These guys must have spent a fair bit of money to get this. The notification in front of him suddenly changed. Bastard Sword's training sword. The iron sword that the hero Bastard's Word used to practice his sword speed. Rare plus. Requirement, level 20. Restriction, swordsman. Special effect, has a chance to activate a slight speed boost on attack. His eyes immediately darted over with curiosity. Bastard Sword's training sword? Remembering his face, Du Hyun let out a mocking laugh. What a role-playing fanatic. ID, Bastard's Word. But well, that name doesn't mean anything anymore. He dismissed the thought and started calculating. I should sell these items for money. The system lit up again, catching Du Hyun's attention. The skill God's Eye has been activated. Seeing a glowing red light in the distance, he wondered doubtfully, what's that over there? Du Hyun walked deeper in, curious. An invisibility skill? If so, this light is too strong. Or maybe it's a rare herb. Right after, the system updated. You have discovered a hidden dungeon, lair of the Black Goblin Mage. Before his eyes was a deep, dark portal. You are the first person to find this hidden dungeon. You have received the title Talented Explorer. Du Hyun was a bit stunned and repeated, a hidden dungeon? Countless pieces of information flashed through his mind. There are many types of dungeons in this game, from party dungeons and single bosses to labyrinths, and even special or event dungeons. An image of a chained and locked door appeared. But among them, the rarest and least known type is the hidden dungeon. Do Hyun was drawn to the deep, dark portal before him. Even classes specializing in exploration have a hard time finding them, not only because they're in extremely absurd locations, but also because they require very strange entry conditions. A light flickered. A series of information changed instantly. Confirmed, only one survivor in the dungeon. Confirmed, currently not in a party. Conditions met. He clicked his tongue in disgust and cursed silently. This is insane. Look at those ridiculous conditions. Do Hyun couldn't help but start muttering. In a dungeon meant for a party, it requires a player to find a hidden path while alone. You can't be in a party? He laughed, but couldn't help but add in his mind. With conditions like these, even if you find it, it's as good as useless. A light flickered. The system displayed information. Lair of the Black Goblin Mage. Rarity, Hero. Type, Hidden Dungeon. Feature, Single Boss. Description, one day, rumors of a black-skinned goblin in Javan created countless legends. Max players, 1. Entry condition, First Discoverer. The dungeon will disappear after being cleared and cannot be re-entered upon failure. Do Hyun smirked arrogantly. Hero rank, huh? I absolutely have to clear this place. A quote from GOD ranker number 1279, free, appeared. Entering a hidden dungeon is like sticking your head into a beast's mouth. The comments immediately exploded. What the hell is he talking about? Does he mean it's that hard? Does entering mean certain suicide? Then why is everyone so obsessed with finding hidden dungeons? Are they all tired of living? It's just a metaphor. But anyone who has tasted a hidden dungeon would have to nod in agreement with his words. What happens when you stick your head into a beast's mouth? It will crush you instantly. A hidden dungeon is exactly that beast's mouth. It just opens its mouth and waits. The prey will walk right in. The end is the cold gaze of the beast. On the other side, Do Hyun had stepped through the portal. You have entered the dungeon. He was greeted by a gray orb hurtling towards him. As soon as the orb hit, the system popped up. You have been hit by a cursed orb. You are afflicted with the blind effect. Amidst the heavy atmosphere, the system suddenly announced, blind will narrow your vision for a period of time. Then came a series of notifications. The hero trait helps you resist mental collapse. The effect of blind has been completely removed. Even so, Do Hyun still wore a confident smile. That's a harsh welcome. A gloomy voice suddenly echoed. How dare you enter my home without permission? You are truly a fearless human. Before him was a squad of goblin zombies. A second later, a notification popped up. Undead Goblin of the Black Goblin Mage. Following that were countless giant spiders. Undead Spider of the Black Goblin Mage. Do Hyun's eyebrows immediately furrowed. So disgusting. As if sensing his thoughts, he laughed. It seems you are disgusted by the sight of my children. As his face became clear, an information panel appeared. Job black. Title, named boss. Rarity, hero. Type, goblin. Traits, special bloodline, sorcerer, necromancer, nimble fingers. Description, the survivor of an extinct tribe, inheriting an elite bloodline. Ja is a goblin who has lived for hundreds of years. Seeing this, he was a bit stunned and wondered, he has a name? Even if the difficulty of a hidden dungeon is high, for it to be a named boss. Remembering that fierce dragon, Do Hyun silently calculated, when I fought the dragon wraiths, the rewards were already good. I wonder what will drop this time. Just then, the deep voice spoke again. But it's strange. How did a human find this place? Ja laughed cruelly and remarked, I don't sense the smell of an explorer. You carry too many mixed auras. You are truly a strange creature. Hearing this, he suddenly realized something. What? This goblin has a good nose. He didn't hesitate and unleashed his pressure. No matter how strange you are, once you've stepped in here, there's no escape. As if activated, the horde of undead charged at Do Hyun. He wasn't scared at all and even opened his mouth to taunt. You're not even a little bit tense, are you? Let me teach you a lesson. Surrounded by the undead, Do Hyun immediately activated a skill. When fighting up close, a ranged fighter should always be extremely vigilant. A second later, he appeared right behind Ja, startling him. Ja didn't hesitate and waved his hand. The system's notification followed. Activating corpse control. Speed greatly increased due to the effect of the nimble fingers trait. Along with the notification came a fierce explosion. Activating corpse explosion. The rolling shockwave forced him to brace himself. As if he had just seen something, Ja's expression suddenly changed. He immediately spun around. Do Hyun had been standing behind him, shrouded in gloom, for who knows how long. In his hand was a bloodstained dagger. A smug smile curved his lips. The system immediately displayed a cold notification. You have been afflicted with the bleeding effect. Ja exclaimed in terror, since when? Seeing that expression, Do Hyun cheerfully asked, surprised? I told you, you should focus more. That smile immediately enraged him. You cowardly rat. Ja waved his hand, summoning countless undead. Let's see how long you can last. He leaped to the side like a flash, dodging in an instant. He didn't stop, continuously waving his hand to summon more undead. And Do Hyun nimbly dodged every attack. Meanwhile, he had already seen through Ja's plan. I see it. Where he's aiming, and where he plans to strike. Looking at that crazed face, Do Hyun pondered. And the plan he's concocting, too. After a short while, he was cornered. His smile grew even more crazed. This ends here. With a ding, a massive explosion erupted. The hidden dungeon boss, Ja Black, is using his ultimate skill, Grand Corpse Explosion. Ja laughed maniacally and muttered, because you're a rare specimen, I was planning to go easy on you. But you brought this upon yourself. Following the system's harsh sound, Do Hyun suddenly appeared right behind him. The mark has disappeared. His gloomy voice echoed in his ear. Your skill missed? The moment he finished speaking, Do Hyun's fist flew straight into Ja's face. He was sent flying into the cliff wall. A pathetic scream rang out. Ja coughed up blood, his body trembling in pain. Just as he was clutching his chest in agony, Do Hyun approached again. His face, shrouded in shadow, was filled with killing intent. Even so, he remained stubborn. You bastard. I'll definitely get my revenge. The moment he finished speaking, Do Hyun gave him a punch to the gut. He didn't stop and continued to swing. A series of punches rained down on Ja's face. In just a moment, dozens of punches had been thrown. Just as Do Hyun was about to strike again, he suddenly cried out, Wait. Ja clutched his bruised face and yelled, Hey, did you hit my bones? Hitting the bones is a dirty move. Hearing this, he raised an eyebrow in disbelief. What kind of boss is this? Meanwhile, his whimpering continued. My bones hurt so much. Do Hyun was a bit speechless and wondered, and this thing is hero rank? Remembering the earlier attack, he couldn't help but assess. The corpse explosion skill is strong, but, besides that, he's still too weak. Seeing Do Hyun stop moving, Ja trembled and flinched. Without hesitation, he immediately jumped backward. Seeing this series of actions, he was a bit skeptical. He laughed gloomily and taunted, You foolish human. I was just waiting for you to let your guard down. Amidst the dark fog, a notification screen appeared. Secret Dungeon, Ja Black. Activating Bloodline Trait. The information above his head suddenly changed. When Ja awakens his bloodline, his stats will skyrocket. Do Hyun jumped in surprise and wondered, his stats increase? As if realizing something, his expression suddenly darkened. He looks pathetic, but going from hero to hero plus is a completely different story. Do Hyun quickly drew his sword. He couldn't help but think, because raids that require a proper party start from hero plus rank. I can't let him be. He didn't hesitate, bending his knees and launching himself forward. Following that were a series of notification screens. Strength increased by plus 20. Strength stat has surpassed 100. Do Hyun looked at the stats before him and silently regretted, I think I went a bit overboard putting everything into strength. But ding. The system information changed again. Warrior set applied. Deal an additional 7% damage to goblin-type enemies. He didn't hesitate and raised his sword. Where he had been standing was now just a cloud of dust. Notifications immediately popped up, filling the screen. Thanks to the rage effect, the boss will take an additional 10% damage. Due to swordsmanship proficiency, damage is increased by 10%. Ja's jaw dropped as he stammered. This is completely absurd. A sharp glint flashed in Do Hyun's eyes. Before destructive damage, all things are equal. With a single slash, he had completely defeated him. After Ja's pathetic scream, the blue screen appeared again. You have defeated the secret dungeon boss, Black. On the other side, a series of text immediately popped up. Congratulations on clearing the secret dungeon. The achievement has been recorded in your adventure log. Symbols and numbers flashed continuously. Because you are the first to clear this dungeon, the rewards will be doubled. Your level has increased. You have received the dungeon clear reward. Item information popped up. Hateful Soulstone of the Goblin Mage. A multi-purpose gem containing a resentful soul. Rarity, Hero. Requirement, level 30. Class, Mage, Shaman, Necromancer. Cloak of the Black Goblin Mage. The black cloak of a Goblin Mage, enchanted with an identification disruption charm for easy anonymity. Rarity, Hero. Requirement, level 30. Class, no restrictions. Special option, when the hood is worn, identification disruption mode will activate. Do Hyun let out a sigh of relief and exclaimed, as expected of hero rank items. The rewards are really good. I can't believe it dropped both a gem and a support item. His voice still held a hint of dissatisfaction. The stats are a bit hard to use, but it's better than nothing. Just then, the screen changed again. Trace of the Forgotten Tribe. This is the remnant of a lost tribe. Its use is still unknown. Do Hyun paused, full of doubt. A trace of a tribe? He stroked his chin thoughtfully. The rarity is a question mark. Even back in Demrock, unidentified items looked just like this. Do Hyun couldn't figure it out and gave up. Whatever, I'll find out eventually. The moment he finished speaking, his eyes fell on the screen below. The system clearly displayed a strange card. Do Hyun wondered with some doubt, a card? He began to sink deep into thought. God seems to have invested a lot in its card system. Not just for combining skills or enchanting, but even the bosses in the adventure log are saved as cards. Do Hyun smiled brightly and calculated, if it's a monster card, it's probably just for enchanting equipment, right? On the screen was his status. Ja card. Rarity, Hero. Description, a card sealing the soul of the Goblin Mage, Ja Black. When used, he will be summoned as a guardian and the card will disappear. He was a bit surprised when he read that line. A guardian? Guardians, simply put, are protectors of their master, like a fire mage's salamander or an alchemist's golem. Do Hyun scratched his head with some curiosity. A guardian, huh? Sounds interesting. It's okay, but remembering Boris Mat's two beasts, he muttered, unless it's a divine beast like that purple-haired guy's Long, or a tiger. As he spoke, Do Hyun made his choice. Regular guardians just cost money to raise and aren't very useful. The status immediately displayed Summoning Guardian. In a moment, a mini Ja was summoned. Ja Black. Title, Named Guardian. Rarity, Hero. Species, Goblin. Level, 1. Loyalty, 0/100. Traits, Bloodline, Thunder Element. Necromancer, Nimble Fingers. Personality, bullies the weak, fears the strong, opportunistic. Skill 1. Create Undead. Description, the survivor of a fallen tribe, possessing a noble bloodline. Ja is a goblin who has lived for hundreds of years. Due to his low level, most of his power is sealed. Seeing the figure before him, he cried out in terror, "Why is it you?" His face immediately showed clear disgust. This thing is my guardian? Do Hyun began to daydream. It should be cool and powerful, like other guardians. Let's just forget about it. Ja, on the other hand, fell to his knees in despair. I can't believe I have to be a servant to a filthy human. Seeing this, he felt some disgust. A goblin who only knows how to pity himself. The more he looked, the more contempt he felt. Bullies the weak, fears the strong, and is an opportunist too. What kind of damn traits are these? As the thought crossed his mind, the system immediately appeared. Guardian Ja's loyalty is at a very low level. Due to Ja Black's nature, if his loyalty is too low, he may betray you. Be careful. After reading this, he couldn't help but widen his eyes and curse silently. This is insane. Looking at his cowardly appearance, Do Hyun clicked his tongue in contempt. With this attitude, I can't let him be. With that thought, he stepped forward under his terrified gaze. Seeing Do Hyun staring at him, Ja asked in a trembling voice, "What is it, human?" Hearing this, he frowned in displeasure. "You dare call your master human?" Do Hyun angrily got in his face, repeating his words in a low voice. The pressure bore down on him, causing Ja's face to contort in terror. He let out a dark laugh and cracked his knuckles threateningly. Your attitude is completely rotten. For every second that passes, I'll give you a beating. He didn't fully understand and showed a clear look of doubt. Do-hyun didn't explain and just gave a cruel smile. Time for a beating. The large shadow falling over him made Ja fall back in fear. Only harsh sounds and his pathetic screams echoed in the cave, accompanied by a series of flashing system notifications. You have attacked your guardian. Loyalty, 2 out of 100. Loyalty, 3/100. Loyalty, 4/100. Loyalty, 5/100. Loyalty, 6/100. The sky turned a pinkish sunset color. The door to the game capsule opened. Do-hyun stretched and looked outside, remarking, "It's starting to get dark." After finishing up, he left the room and asked, "Mom, is there anything to eat at home?" But the only reply was from his little sister. "There's nothing, so don't ask." Do-hyun turned to look at his carefree sister on the sofa. His face showed clear helplessness, and he sighed internally. "I'm speechless." Then Do-hyun sat down with a question. "So where's Mom?" She just replied curtly, "She has plans." He asked again, "What are you watching?" She continued to answer, "GODS." Hearing that, Do-hyun was slightly surprised. "GODS? You play that game too?" She replied with a nonchalant attitude. Who doesn't play it these days? This remark surprised Do-hyun so much that he had to exclaim, "Really?" She said again, "Yeah, I'm already level 71. This information surprised him even more. Wow. A question from Do-hyun followed. To get to level 71, you must have grinded a lot, huh? She continued to eat her snacks while lazily explaining, about 6 months. A friend invited me and said she'd carry me, so I started playing. But I have to admit, this game is pretty fun. Hearing his sister say that, Do-hyun mentally calculated, 6 months? It takes that long to reach level 70? Then she immediately shot back at him. That's because I don't waste 10 hours a day on a game like someone I know. This time, Do-hyun was truly speechless and didn't reply. Just then, a news report came on the TV. Next up is news about the Hero Guild. I know this guild. His attention immediately turned to it. The Hero Guild. Do-hyun's sister explained to him. They're the hottest group among young people right now. In terms of popularity, they're not far behind Mimesis. Hearing that, he became even more curious. But why? They're not in the top 10, are they? Unexpectedly, the answer was very simple. Because they're handsome, of course. On the GODS TV screen was the leader of the Hero Guild. She rested her chin on her hand and lazily added, "Even if guys like Mimesis, most girls still prefer the Hero Guild." Hearing this, Do-hyun immediately criticized him. That guy looks like a pretty boy. In contrast to him, his damn sister was completely infatuated. Look at that face. It's the perfect combination of masculinity and good looks. He's on a completely different level from you. He cursed silently in disgust. What right does a pelican face thing like you have to talk? Feeling fed up, Do-hyun stood up to leave. Whatever, I'm going to exercise. Unexpectedly, his sister suddenly exclaimed, with a face like that, no wonder his YouTube channel is so popular. His footsteps stopped, followed by a question. YouTube? Although she tried to act indifferent, she still answered all of her brother's questions. All the guilds have YouTube channels now. Some of them even get hundreds of millions of views. Do-hyun's eyes widened and his jaw dropped in astonishment. He was drawn in and leaned closer, asking for details. 100 million views? He must make a ton of money then, right? She was frightened by his excitement. I guess so. I heard he makes up to 1 billion won. This number was beyond Do-hyun's imagination. 1 billion won? How much fried chicken could you buy with that? Then, like someone in a trance, he kept repeating, 1 billion, 1 billion. She called out worriedly, "Hey bro, what's wrong with you?" However, Do-hyun just dreamily wandered into his room. 1 billion, 1 billion. Then the door gently closed. Do-hyun's sister grimaced in confusion. What the heck? He's acting so weird. A system notification sounded as Do-hyun reconnected to the game. ID confirmed. Synchronization process complete. Connecting to the world of GODS. Do-hyun has logged into the game. He prepared to record. I'll just record for now to be safe. Who knows? This footage might come in handy someday. Ja stepped out of the black circle, rubbing his eyes. I'm in. Hearing this, he couldn't help but feel annoyed and asked back, "You're here? Are you planning to drop the honorifics now?" His annoyed attitude made Ja quickly explain, "No, master. Hyun had to remind him, "It's fine. Just call me whatever you're comfortable with." Then he threw him a set of clothes. "And you put this on." He followed up with an explanation. "I can't equip it right now anyway. Besides, you need something to cover yourself with." Suddenly, the system announced, "Loyalty decreased by -2. Ja gave a terrifying smile and replied, "Because Master has bestowed upon me clothes to wear, this Ja will be a free entity." Seeing him like this, Hyun glared angrily. A heavy pressure radiated from him. What? Ja realized his move was a mistake. He fearfully justified himself. No, Master. Thank you very much." The system displayed, "Loyalty has increased by +2. Seeing him like this, Hyun looked at him with disgust and thought, "Is this loyalty stat a rubber band or something? It stretches and snaps back so easily." Wearing the cloak, Ja spoke up. "Master, where are we going now?" As if remembering his task, Hyun snapped back to reality and looked ahead. "We have to run." These words made Ja stare blankly. Then came the pained screams of monsters. The scene was filled with slain monsters. The system's sound rang out continuously. "You have defeated a red goblin in the forest. You have defeated a giant spider." Looking at the corpses of the defeated monsters, Ja felt some pity for them. He thought, "Poor things." Then he looked at Hyun, who was frantically killing monsters. Of all the people to run into, they had to run into this demon. Ja's train of thought was interrupted by a call. "Hey, come here." He immediately looked up and wondered, "Master?" Hyun sat down to rest, waiting for Ja to run over. He quickly gave him a task. "Leave the items you just picked up there, and try creating an undead." He obediently followed. "Yes, sir." Then Ja put down the sword in his hand. He approached one of the monsters. Then, a dark aura rose up and Ja began to chant. Griya Mao Ryu Cha Gra. The monster was enveloped in a dark aura. Its soul seemed to be drained. Seeing this, Hyun was somewhat impressed. The system announced, "Guardian Ja Black has successfully turned a red goblin of the forest into an undead." A moment later, Ja had turned the entire pile of goblins into his legion, along with an explanation. "It's all done, Master. Normally I can create an entire army, but this is my limit for now." He praised him. "Not bad." In his mind, Hyun thought, "This will definitely be useful later." Then, Ja continued to say something to the red goblins. They obeyed his command and ran off immediately. Seeing this, Hyun asked in confusion, "Where are they going?" Ja replied with a proud smile on his face. "I ordered them to go pick up items." Hearing this, his gaze towards him grew even more hateful. He already knows how to order them around to do chores. However, he quickly dismissed the silly thought and calculated, "I wonder when I'll reach level 2. I wish a few elite monsters would appear." Unexpectedly, new information was provided at that moment. "Elite monsters? If you're talking about those high-grade ones, I know where they are, Master." Hyun was startled and asked back, "What?" He explained seriously, "Those guys do nothing all day. They just gather in one place." Hearing this, Hyun's attitude changed noticeably. His smile became excited. "Those elite monsters are all gathered in one place?" Above the forest was a clear blue sky. The elite monsters had already gathered in one spot. Ja and Hyun were hiding on one side. "What do you think, Master? It's them, right?" Hyun was so excited he broke into a wide grin. "I can't believe it." Looking at the monsters before him, he couldn't help but wonder, why are there so many of them? The notification panel conveniently appeared. Sudden quest. The Warriors Challenge has been activated. The Warriors Challenge. Quest rank. Sudden. Reward. 100 gold. A certain amount of experience. 1 mid-grade skill draw ticket. Time limit. 48 hours. Reading this, Hyun smirked to himself. A mid-grade skill draw ticket, too? I definitely have to complete this one. The elite monsters quickly noticed his presence. Hyun, on the other side, wasted no time and immediately charged. The corner of his mouth curved into a smile. "Hey, you guys." The red goblin immediately prepared to retaliate. It swung its sword down powerfully. Hyun easily dodged and even counterattacked. The red goblin growled threateningly. However, in the end, it still took a direct hit to the face. Blood gushed from its nose. The red goblin rolled backward from the force. Hyun's beatdown was just beginning. He swept through the monsters like the wind while activating a tricky stab. System notifications immediately appeared. Bleeding status has been inflicted. The moment Du Hyun stopped, the monsters collapsed to the ground. On the opposite side, the figure of a red goblin was running towards him. Du Hyun met its attack head-on. Then he reached behind him and drew his weapon. The red goblin's face showed a look of surprise. Du Hyun immediately kicked it to the ground. The red goblin coughed up blood after taking the full force of the blow. Only then did he touch the hilt of his sword, and immediately drew it. The red goblin let out a threatening roar. However, this had no effect on Du Hyun. He delivered a critical blow without hesitation. Du Hyun's expression didn't change, while the red goblin was in agony. Its powerless body fell to the ground. From the bushes, Ja was observing and thinking to himself, how horrifying. He couldn't believe his eyes. I saw it in the West Forest too, but that guy, he's probably not human. Ja's face was filled with horror as he looked at Du Hyun. He's a demon. A real demon. He stabbed the sword in his hand firmly into the ground. Du Hyun looked around and muttered, the warriors are all cleaned up. I guess it's about time he showed himself. Unexpectedly, the figure of another monster appeared from a distance, accompanied by system notifications. You have encountered the hidden boss, Great Warrior Goblin Karok. Information about the quest and the opponent was displayed. Quest, the Warriors Challenge, has changed to the Great Warriors Challenge. Great Warrior Goblin Karok. Title, Elite Hidden Boss. Traits, Great Warrior, Body Enhancement, Berserker. However, Du Hyun himself flashed a wicked smile. There you are, my little loot bag. He picked up the sword in his hand. Du Hyun wasted no time and immediately charged at his opponent. The two fought with a life-or-death mentality. Ja, watching from a distance, shouted worriedly, don't. That guy is too much for you, master. He kindly informed him, just clashing with him will shatter your sword. Great Warrior Goblin Karok used a brutal strike. Du Hyun's gaze didn't waver for even a second. Karok raised the axe in his hand. Then he brought it down forcefully. Unexpectedly, it didn't even scratch Du Hyun. Even Ja, who was hiding, was surprised. Du Hyun was now blocking its attack. A delighted smile was on his face. This attitude confused Karok. It roared again and struck once more. Du Hyun's hand holding the weapon also began to move. He didn't let it attack and struck first. A series of high-speed attacks followed. Ja couldn't believe his eyes and kept asking himself, What is happening before my eyes? He looked at the scene before him with astonishment. A question was raised. A parry? More about the parry skill. Parry. A skill to deflect an opponent's attack. It can fail if timed incorrectly. Although it is the swordsman's only defensive skill, it is famous for surpassing normal skill ranks. If the conditions are met, this is an overpowered technique that can even nullify legendary skills. This skill also has a weakness. But because its success rate is extremely low, almost no one dares to use it in actual combat. On the other side, Du Hyun was thinking with amusement, successfully used the parry skill. I can't believe this came from a low-grade gacha roll. A system notification appeared. Karok continues to use brutal strike. An explosion followed. Before Karok could understand what happened, Du Hyun had appeared behind it. Only then did Karok turn its head. A smile was on Du Hyun's face. Karok's skill. It let out a surprised cry. Ja's eyes widened in astonishment. In the blink of an eye, Du Hyun had decapitated Karok. You have defeated the hidden boss, Great Warrior Goblin Karok. This achievement has been recorded in your adventure log. Following that were several system notifications. Congratulations on completing the Great Warriors Challenge. Rewards include 200 gold, a large amount of experience, 2 mid-grade skill draw tickets, and Karok's leather armor set. He himself was so surprised he cheered. Oh my god, he's really dead. And I got 2 draw tickets, too. Du Hyun was so excited he was jumping up and down on the spot. Ja, standing to the side, grimaced and thought, here we go again. He started to compare. When he's fighting, he looks like a demon, but as soon as it comes to these gacha games. Ja looked at Du Hyun's change in attitude and had to ask himself, why is he suddenly acting like an idiot? On the other side, he was interacting with the system. A series of skills appeared. Information about the skills was displayed one by one. Skill, Rising Dragon Kick. Quality, Rare. Requirement, Martial Artist. Effect, deals massive damage with a kick. Cooldown, 21 seconds. Skill, Heavy Strike. Rarity, Rare. Requirement, Support. Increases physical attack by 40 for 40 seconds. Cooldown, 40 seconds. A buff skill just dropped? Heavy Strike. More information about this skill. This is the core skill for buff specialists. A 40-second duration with a 40-second cooldown means it's basically a permanent power boost. Besides that, it makes a normal sword hit with the force of a greatsword. Reading this, Do-hyun was so excited he covered his face. Awesome. This is really amazing. An assassin who can self-buff and fight alongside. His gaze became more dangerous. And I got Rising Dragon Kick, too. I've wanted to try this move for a long time. It looks so cool. It's perfect. Everything is perfect. It didn't stop there. The system continued to display other notifications. Unidentified item. Karok's red leather armor. Crafted from the hide of the great warrior goblin Karok. Rarity, hero. Karok's red leather pants. Made from the durable hide of Karok himself. Rarity, hero. Below were a few more items. Karok's blue-red leather pauldrons. Armor crafted from the hide of the great warrior Karok. Rarity, rare plus. Karok's essence ring. A ring containing the essential power of Karok. Rarity, hero. Reading this, Do-hyun remarked, "Finally, I can take off this tattered goblin outfit." He wasted no time and immediately equipped the gear. A system notification appeared along with a flash of light as the equipment was changed. You have equipped the full blue-red Great Warrior set. Set effect. AoE range plus 10%, melee damage plus 6.5%, all stats plus 4. You have equipped the trainee's sword. Do-hyun looked at himself excitedly and remarked, "The colors are a bit flashy, but I look much better like this, right?" Ja at his side quickly chimed in, "It suits you very well, master." Then he stepped closer and commented with a grimace, "Master, sometimes you scare me." This comment was positively received by Do-hyun. "You think so too?" He added proudly, "Even I'm scared of myself. I wonder how much further I'm going to go." Ja was completely speechless at Do-hyun's extreme narcissism. "I'm a real man," he silently remarked, "this crazy bastard." Just that one thought triggered a notification. Loyalty points decreased by 1. Do-hyun immediately looked at him and questioned, "What was that just now? You were just cursing me in your head, weren't you?" Ja vehemently denied it. "Not at all, master." However, he had already entered a threatening state. "Try stepping out of line. You'll be dead for sure." Ja smiled and stammered in reply, "Yes, master." Loyalty points increased by 1. Only then did Do-hyun reluctantly let out a sigh. He sheathed his weapon and started to move. "Let's go." Ja, at his side, couldn't contain his curiosity. "Where are we going?" A simple answer was given by Do-hyun. "It's time to hunt a boss." He nodded and casually agreed. "We've already taken down a great warrior, so killing a few more won't be a problem." But as soon as he said it, Ja himself felt something was wrong. On Do-hyun's side, he was reading the notifications displayed before him. To advance to the next city, you must pass the continent's trial. Hunt the field boss. Trial level 1. Condition: reach level 24. Defeat Spider Queen Eliza. Eliza 0/1. The next place they stopped was the area where Spider Queen Eliza appears in the West Forest. Other players had already gathered here. I wonder when she'll finally show up. Probably in about 10 more minutes. Small groups were constantly discussing among themselves. This time, where will she appear? I heard last time she appeared at the Eastern Web, right? They were all cautiously observing the terrain in front of them. Then maybe this time it'll be the West or North. At that moment, Do-hyun and Ja also arrived. He looked down at him and questioned, "Let me ask you seriously. Do you really know where the boss will appear?" Ja didn't hide anything and explained sincerely, "No, sir. This boss is from a new generation, so even I don't know much about it, master." Hearing this, Do-hyun let out a weary sigh. "And you said before that you knew everything about this forest." He didn't seem to notice his disappointed attitude. Do-hyun also had his own calculations in mind. "Well, where will she appear?" He looked at the terrain and thought, "No matter where she appears, I'll just rush in and use backstab, and it'll be over." Just then, system notifications suddenly appeared. The Slayer talent has been activated. The location of the boss, Spider Queen Eliza, has been revealed. The red shadow of the Spider Queen appeared on the ground, startling Do-hyun. "What?" He couldn't help but feel confused. "I don't have a Slayer title for spiders, do I?" However, he quickly figured it out himself. Wait a minute. A guess was then formed. Could it be that it doesn't just apply to bosses I've killed, but to all types of bosses? But Do Hyun didn't waste time on idle thoughts. Whatever. It doesn't matter right now. The corner of his mouth curved into an inhuman smile. What's important is that I can monopolize this boss by using backstab. A blue light appeared on the ground. From the darkness emerged the figure of a fat spider, constantly wailing. Eliza! Eliza! In a flash, Do Hyun appeared behind it. You have encountered Spider Queen Eliza. He looked at his opponent with unconcealed excitement. I can't believe that move actually worked. Ja at his side was so surprised he had to ask, Master, how did you do that? Do Hyun lazily explained, it's a long story. His focus was now on the opponent before him. Let's just call this a sweet deal. But Do Hyun stared at Eliza and made a comment. This big girl is huge. Spider Queen Eliza. Title, Elite Field Boss. Species, Spider. Traits, Steel Web, Deadly Toxin, Spider Sense. It let out a threatening roar and charged forward. Eliza. The cry made him grimace in annoyance. It charged while continuously crying out, Eliza, Eliza, Eliza. Meanwhile, Do Hyun was also backing away. He moved and used backstab. In a flash, Do Hyun disappeared from Eliza's sight. It cried out in surprise, E-dash. From behind, the figure of a dragon appeared. Do Hyun launched an attack using Rising Dragon Kick. Due to the set effect, damage was increased by 6%. Eliza was hit so hard her eyes went wide. He was completely focused on it. After that attack ended, Eliza fell to the ground. Do Hyun didn't waste another second and immediately charged in to attack. Eliza flinched and let out a dry cry. Eliza. However, Do Hyun had already swept past her with high-speed slashes. His feet slid across the ground. Then Do Hyun gathered his strength and charged at Eliza. The system now issued a notification. You are using the skill Heavy Strike. Attack power has been increased. He accelerated, aiming his attack at Eliza. This time, a hint of fear flickered across its face. Eliza. The system issued a notification. You have used Rising Dragon Kick again. The figure of a golden dragon appeared once more. Eliza took a full kick to the head and collapsed. It was in so much pain that it spat out blood. Eliza's entire body slammed into the ground. Ja had been hiding all this time. He thought to himself, my God, I pity anyone who has to face that demon. Do Hyun stood still, looking at Eliza lying flat in front of him. It looked at him with its big, glistening eyes and called out, Eliza? A murderous glint flashed in his eyes. I have no idea what this Eliza means. However, Do Hyun had more than enough patience to force an explanation out of it. Let's see how long you can keep your mouth shut. Knowing this human wasn't joking, Eliza shrieked even louder. Lisa. Eliza. Ja watched Eliza take a beating, not daring to breathe. Lisa. He had only one thought in his mind. Master is so cruel. Do Hyun still wasn't done pummeling Eliza. Lisa. Eliza. It was then that Ja paused as if remembering something. Eliza. That name sounds so familiar. His jaw dropped as he finally understood. Then Ja rushed out to stop him. Master, stop. He ran with all his might towards Do Hyun to intervene. Wait. Master, please stop. His frantic attitude confused him. What's wrong? Ja ran to Eliza, asking worriedly. Eliza, it's me. Open your eyes and look, Eliza. She struggled to look at him and replied, Lisa. Ja took off his hood and continued, Eliza, it's me. Don't you recognize me? Eliza's eyes were now filled with tears. Lisa. Eliza. The story must be told from 150 years ago. Back then, Ja was taller than he is now. As he was moving, he heard a call. Lisa. Ja looked at Eliza and remarked, this spider is a bit strange. Eliza stared at him and called Lisa. Lisa. Ja's attention was fixed on it. A spider like this exists? He chuckled and suggested, hey, want to come with me? Eliza excitedly cried out, Lisa. Its big, sparkling eyes stared at him. Lisa. Lisa. The cries continued. Lisa. Lisa. Ja gently replied, Lisa, my name is Ja. A wide grin spread across his face. But calling you Lisa sounds a bit too plain. How about Eliza B? Eliza was so delighted with the name that she jumped up and down. Lisa. Lisa. Ja gave a weary smile and patiently explained, not Lisa. It's Elizab, Eliza. However, his words were like water off a spider's back. Lisa. Ja was helpless. All right, fine. Have it your way. I'll call you Eliza. Then he reached for his cloak. Eliza, I have to go on a journey alone today. This declaration confused Eliza so much she tilted her head. Lisa? Ja refused. No, you can't. That place is still too dangerous for you. She could only watch him leave. Lisa. As he reached the door, Ja didn't forget to say, well then, I'm off. Eliza had been staring at him the whole time. Lisa. However, the story had a sad ending. And so, her master never returned. Time passed. The sun set. The moon rose. Then the moon set, and the sun began a new day. A year passed. 10 years passed. 100 years passed. And so, Eliza waited tirelessly for her master, until the small tent had gradually rotted away with time. Finally, a momentous decision was made. Eliza decided to head towards the West Forest to find the place where she and her master first met. Throughout that journey, she kept repeating the name he had given her so she wouldn't forget. Only now did they have this moving reunion. Eliza. Lisa. Lisa. Do Hyun stood to the side and asked nonchalantly, so, to sum it up, you abandoned Eliza? His words made Ja freeze. However, right after that, the two of them embraced and sobbed. Eliza. Lisa. Lisa. Another question was raised. But why did you have to hide? Not just for a few years, but for 150 years. This time, Ja explained softly that, I cannot reveal, master. It is beyond my current capabilities. This answer confused him. What does that mean? But he explained once more, I'm sorry, master. His serious face made it impossible for Do Hyun not to believe him. He let out a sigh and looked around. What should we do now? This is the final quest, so I can't just leave it half-finished. Ja frowned in agreement. That's right, master. At that moment, Eliza spoke up again. Lisa. Lisa. He immediately looked at her. Because of this, Eliza's expression changed. Lisa. Hearing this, Ja couldn't help but be surprised. What? What do you mean by that? He tried his best to stop her. No, absolutely not. However, Eliza insisted. Lisa. Lisa. Do Hyun cut in, confused. Hey, what's going on? Ja wore a grave expression and explained, she's asking me to finish her off, master.